What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all bear with me. I was looking a little shocked because my Facebook isn't working, but we are live here on YouTube. What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna give y'all a little moment to come into the room while I fix this Facebook issue since it's not linking. Not sure why. Let me see. Say they sent the code. Oh, well, I'll just not stream on Facebook for this one. What's up, everybody? How's everything going? Just another beautiful Friday. We made it to the weekend. I know a lot of people have had a long week. Some people are still leaving the house every day, working hard, doing what they have to do in their life. I commend you for that. Make sure that you stay safe. We in the room. Shout out to Engraving in the building. What's going on, guys? I'm sorry the way I started. I was just thrown off because my Facebook link, it said I had to re-sign up, but whatever. I'm live on YouTube right now. We got 70 people in the room. Make sure that you hit that like button on your way in the room. What's up, everybody? I entitled tonight's video, Miami Dolphins can either build a dynasty or repeat the last 30 years. And we're going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be talking to you all tonight because it means a lot to me. That topic means a lot to me right now because I'm not going to be happy at all if we repeat the last 30 years. So we're going to dive into that as we go. Shout out to Elder Bruce Jones. Shout out to you, homie. I hope all is well. Quentin Riddle in the building say, I've been working too much. I hear you, man. Shout out to all those who are out there still putting the work in. Nothing's wrong with that, man, but just make sure that you're doing everything you can to stay safe if you're outdoors. Hopefully, the government is telling us accurate information that hopefully we're arriving at the peak of this, and hopefully that bell curve starts to head down and we're on our way to better days and football. Man, boy, do we need football. TD wants to see a Dolphins Super Bowl at some point. You got it, man. You got it. You got it, man. Shout out to the homie Steve Savain in the building, my brother from another mother. Man, that's what's up, man. What's up, TD and the Patreon? Shout out to Donald Young. Shout out to all the Patreon members, man. Shout out to all the Patreon members. Somebody said Burrow. Let me see. I'm going to check in with you. Let me see who the first person that was in the building today. Who was the first person in the building? Let's see. Shout out to Chalk Van Straw. Said, let's go Fins. What a way to start the stream. Flipside Fishing, I see you, TD. What's good, man? Fins up. I'm all good, man. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check in with y'all real quick in the comment section, answer a few of y'all questions, and then we're going to talk about this title because I want to start talking about this once we're, probably over 130, 150 people. It'll start picking up as time goes. But y'all, please hit that like button on your way in. We're already at 90 people and we got 40 likes. Punch that like button because it's going to let other people know that we are live. The more likes we get early in the video. I've been studying this YouTube algorithm thing. Hit that like button now. We can go ahead and get more people in the building, all right? Do you still sell Dolphins t-shirts? Check me out in the link below. It's the TD Fins shop. The link is in the description of the video if you want to check out the merch, but I got new merch coming, guys. I got new designs, new logos. We're about to do a whole new rebranding of TDPHINSTALK, but I'm trying to roll that out when the season starts. So y'all bear with me, man. Y'all bear with me. We building that dynasty. You better know it, Elder Bruce Jones. That dynasty is on the way. There's no question about it. Shout out to Finsanity. What's up, girl? I'm going to hit you up later. Busy day yesterday. I'll just say that. You know what I'm talking about. TD, have you seen the Tua tape? Man, I've seen the Tua tape. I ain't talking about just the running drills. I've seen an additional tape. And I've seen all the extra injury stuff that's out there and all that stuff. We'll talk about that probably at the end. I ain't got time for this guy right now, man. XFL has been canceled. I'm really sad about that, y'all, because that was going to be a good pipeline for the NFL, the XFL. But they shut down and don't look like they're going to return. I don't even think Vince McMahon, the pockets ain't deep enough to maintain a situation like what they're going through right now. So I don't even think the XFL will return, guys. So it might be a rest in peace XFL, man. TD, you see Tua, he looks sharp. Aqua Vision, don't believe everything you see. You know how it's don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you see, man. Listen, man. I bet you I can look as good as Tua doing that drill. If just give me about 5 reps. I'm gonna palm that ball together. TD looks sharp, boy. You better draft me in the first round. Come on, man. Y'all stop paying attention to these clips, man. Stop looking at these clips, man. It ain't doing you no justice. Ooh, got this tea going. These clips ain't doing you no justice, man. Don't have me going out there for the minimum contract. Hey, I'll take that minimum. I'll take half the minimum. Matter of fact, you can give me 1/3 of the minimum. I'm out there giving my body up, baby. Let's roll. Let's go. No, he's talking about the pro day film. Yeah, I saw that too. I remember I did more research on the physicals and stuff. Tennessee was one of the teams that actually brought him in for an actual physical. Tennessee was one of those teams. So a lot of people are speculating that Tennessee is one of the teams that failed him on the physical because they were one of the few teams that actually got to bring him in for physical. TD hating right now. Hey, it's me. I will admit I am hating right now. Just this little snippet. Now, when I start talking, it ain't no more hate. It's just facts. Even though it's gonna sound like hate, it's still facts. So it is what it is, man. I'm nervous on what the Dolphins are gonna do. Christian Foster, I appreciate you saying that because you've provided the segue into the topic for tonight. You provided the segue for the topic for tonight. And without further ado, I might as well go ahead and get started. One moment. I'm hearing my playback, but all right, we're good now. All right, let's dive in. Miami Dolphins can either build a dynasty or repeat the last 30 years. Let me say that one more time. Let me side with that. Gosh, see, this is stuff I hate. The Miami Dolphins can either build a dynasty or repeat the last 30 years. Now, there's a reason why I said 30 years. If anybody did the math, some of y'all, it might have made you say, why did you say 30? You know, because 30 years ago, we had Dan Marino and we were rolling. So let me repeat it one more time for those who aren't listening. The Miami Dolphins can build a dynasty or repeat the last 30 years. I wanted to say 48, but I just said, let me say 30 years, okay? And that includes with Dan Marino. I don't want to repeat the last 30 years. I don't want to repeat 1990. I don't want to repeat 1991, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. All the Dan Marino years I don't want to repeat. I don't want to repeat the post Dan Marino after him. I don't want to repeat the Tannehill era. I don't want to repeat the Wildcat era, Ronnie Brown, Ricky Williams. I don't want to see another Pat White situation. I don't want to see the Vontae Davis and Sean Smiths. I don't want to see the Zach Thomas era. I don't want to see the Jason Taylor era. This ain't taking nothing away from none of these guys. A whole bunch of great players I just named in a great situations, but I do not want to repeat none of it. None of it. I don't want to repeat it. So for all y'all who think I'm ragging on Marino, Jason Taylor, Zach, no, they were great players on a team that couldn't get it done. I don't want to repeat that. We either gonna build a dynasty or we're going to repeat the last 30 plus years. Not with it. Mr. Miami 305 said Miami Dolphins was in playoff in 1990, 91, 92, 94, 95, 97. I don't want to repeat it. I don't want to repeat it. At the end of the day, Mr. Miami, the buck doesn't stop there for me. I'm sorry. I'm a little greedy right now. I don't care about the Miami Dolphins being in the playoffs in 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024, 2026, 2027 if they ain't going to a Super Bowl. I don't want to repeat it. I don't. I was on the line with OJ McDuffie and Richmond Webb 2 nights ago, Wednesday night. I'm on the phone with OJ McDuffie and Richmond Webb. And I got a chance to ask those gentlemen a question. I asked them, I said, back in 98, I know you got hurt, Richmond Webb. You played 8 games that season, but OJ McDuffie, it was the prime of your career. You had over 1,000 yards for the first time. Y'all were balling out. I said, those teams of the 90s, what were y'all missing? You had Dan Marino, the greatest quarterback of all time, in my opinion. You can hate all you want. If you're a real Dolphin fan, you should feel the same way, even if it ain't true. You had Dan Marino. What were we missing? What were we missing? And I told them, I was on the phone with OJ McDuffie and Richmond Webb, and I told them, I said, I'm a little bit of a little history guy. I like to look at the past so that I can help prepare myself for the future and understand it better. So we had our franchise quarterback. We had a premier receiver over 1,000 yards that year. We had Richmond Webb, one of the best left tackles of all time. He better get in the Hall of Fame. What were we missing? And here's what these gentlemen told me, these amazing gentlemen. First, they said early in the 90s, we ran into Buffalo. It was almost like we tried. These are their exact words, and I appreciate their honesty. He said, we tried everything, man. We would do this, we would do that. We just couldn't get over the hump with them. They were just that good. And I get all that. Buffalo was that good early in the 90s. And he said when we missed that, that was the time where we had our best roster. Who was that? That was OJ McDuffie who said that, I believe. He said that was the time we had our best roster. We couldn't get over the hump, though, man. They were that good. They were that good. We tried everything. And he said later in the 96, 97, 98, we weren't there. We weren't ready. We weren't ready. But when we were at our best, Buffalo was just that good. We couldn't get over the hump. And that's why I came up with the conclusion. Can't do it again. I don't care if we go to the playoffs, like I said 5 minutes ago, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. I don't want to repeat the same thing as the early 90 Dolphins. I don't want a team to be so good that they're standing in our way and we can't get over the hump. I don't care who it is, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Love, Josh Rosen, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't care who it is. We cannot afford to build a great team and somebody else build a greater one. Facts, man. For all y'all, who are all good with we were competitive. If we're competitive and we're going to the playoffs and we're contending every year, that's all you can ask for. Then we ain't on the same page. It's nothing against you. That's where you are with football in this team. Not me. Not me. Been a Dolphin fan before I was born. I envy those who got to witness the 1972-73 Dolphins. I envy you in a good way. Don't feel bad. I envy you. I wish that I could have witnessed us go and win a Super Bowl undefeated. I wish. But people have to start to put things into perspective and realize some people can go their entire lives and never see their favorite franchise win a Super Bowl. I just don't want that to be me. So forgive me if I'm not satisfied with being competitive every year. I want a Super Bowl winning team. I want a team that is built to run through everybody. I want to be the Buffalo Bills of the early 90s. That other teams that are good are saying we just couldn't get over the hump because the Dolphins were that good. Anything less than that, get out of my face. Don't text me, don't email me, don't talk to me, don't conversate with me about trying to be competitive. No, don't want it. I want just as good or better than what Buffalo was able to produce early in the 90s when we couldn't get over the hump. I want teams to fear us. I want to build a legitimate, true dynasty. When is the last time that we've seen a dynasty in this league? We're living in an active one. The New England Patriots. And for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I know you all. This is the home of the real Miami Dolphin fans, so I know you don't want to hear this, but facts are facts. We are still living in the New England Patriots dynasty. Just because Brady has left and a lot of their weapons have left, it's a dynasty until there's at least 2 years of non-relevance. You have to be able to write a 5-year period and they're not relevant. That's when the dynasty is over. We are at least 2 years away from their dynasty. They can win 8 games this year and the dynasty isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you look at the last 5 years, still a dynasty. And if you look at the last 10, no question. Look at the last 20, why are you even asking? We're still living in one. The only way to get rid of it is to become it. Let me say that one more time. The only way to get rid of the dynasty is to become it. Become the dynasty. Period, man. And we're in the AFC just like them. There can only be a max of 2 dynasties at once, and it has to be in 2 different. It can't be one in the same conference. And there aren't 2 more than one dynasty. It's just one, the New England Patriots. We have to take advantage of all the opportunities that we've been given. Guys, we hit a true reset button. Do you know how many teams hit the reset button, but they really aren't resetting? What the Miami Dolphins just did probably hasn't been done in 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. A true reset. Is there more than 3 players on this roster that's been here more than 4 years? No. A true reset. That's what we've done. Now, when you do a true reset, you basically clean everything out. We even gutted the foundation and rebuilt it. And now at this point, we have to build our house hurricane proof, as strong as it can be. And we've already started that in free agency. We put up all the wall railings and everything. And in this draft, which is literally 2 weeks away, 2 weeks from now, we have to put all the screws in place. Yes, I said all. You know how this is a 2-year deal where it's going to take 2 years for us to rebuild? And with all these draft picks, you miss me with that. Get out my face with that. In 13 days, I want to see this roster ready for war. See, we give excuses. No, we ain't giving excuses, but we sit here and kind of give a pass, and I'm guilty of it myself. You know, we at least got 2 more years before the rebuild is done. But in essence, we don't. All this draft capital we've accumulated, the successful free agents class that we've accumulated, miss me with the, hey, this year is this year, and next year we should be where we need to be. Nah, the only thing I want to hear is about camaraderie and gelling. That's the only excuse I want to hear about. Camaraderie, putting it all together. But when we leave this draft this year, we ought to see a team that's in the top 15 of the league, the better half of the league. All these assets, all the work you've already put in free agency, top 15 in the league, no questions asked. No questions. We're giving excuses if we allow that. Excuses. Shout out to Charlton Van Straw. Said, are you streaming the draft? Can't wait. Absolutely. Because I got to see if we get it right. We all going to do this together. We're going to have a big party over here draft night. We're going to do this together. Because that 2 weeks from now is going to be a sign of if we built the dynasty or if we're about to repeat the next 30 years. A lot of people want you to believe we accumulated all these draft picks so that we can go get the quarterback we want. That's not what happened. We accumulated all these draft picks so that we can clean house. And that was a result of cleaning house. You think all these draft picks and first round picks and stuff like that was for the quarterback only? No, number 18 belongs to Minkah Fitzpatrick. I love to see them go replace him at 18 if it was up to me. Come on, man. Number 26 and 2021's first round pick, that was Laramie Tunsil. I like to see you go replace Laramie Tunsil in the first round. That's what those picks were for. Let's get that straight. Don't be listening to these people out here trying to tell you they've accumulated all these picks just to go get the quarterback. We didn't want to let Minkah go. So why you think number 18 is for a quarterback? No, sir. No, ma'am. I could only pray that they take the corresponding picks and replace the players. You got Laramie Tunsil, 2 firsts and a second for Laramie Tunsil. Forget and Kenny Stills, if we traded him straight out, it would have been a 4th round pick, okay? So in essence, you got 2 firsts and a third. Let's just say that for Laramie Tunsil. I'd like to see you take number 26 in the third and move up in the teens. Number 26 in a second and go get us a left tackle or right tackle if you get to it. But get a tackle. Take number 18. Go ahead and get the best safety that you can to replace Minkah. Take number 5. And if you're convicted, get Tua. Because we ain't getting Burrow at 5. And if Tua falls to 5, take it and get it if you're convicted about it. If that's your guy, go get him at 5, but don't use nothing else. That's Laramie Tunsil's capital. That's Minkah Fitzpatrick's capital. That's what all that is. That's exactly what it is. And if it was me, I'll take that number 5. I would take number 5, and I'll be on the phone with the Raiders. You know you got plenty of people up here at 5 you want. So go on, give me number 12 and 19. Don't get Herbert or Love, whoever falls at number 12. And at number 19, have fun for the rest of the draft. 18, replace Minkah. 26, and add that second round pick you picked up. Move back up and replace Tunsil. Number 5, trade it out. Get your quarterback at 12. Number 19, have fun for the rest of the draft. Take number 19 and have fun. Go get us another tackle or another guard or your running back or another safety or your nose tackle. That second round pick, have fun. Fill the roster up. Get us some depth. Get another guard. Third round, fourth round, fifth round. Have fun. Bring in a whole bunch of guys as depth that can turn out to be something with this great coaching staff. Fifth round, sixth round, seventh round. Package them all up and push them to next year. Turn a few of those fives into a next year 4. Turn a few of those 6s into a next year 5. Whatever you got to do. That's what this draft should look like. Real talk. But I'm tired of hearing the rumblings about, hey, we need to take number 5 and number 18 and move up to 3. And how are we going to replace Tunsil? How are we going to replace Minka? When are we ever going to get our nose tackle? Where TD, there's guys in the third round that can fit the bill. Let me do that again. Well, TD, there's guys in the third and fourth round that can come in and fill the role. We already around here trying to hope that the first round picks pan out and don't become Charles Harris's. We hoping that the first rounders don't become busts. And now there's guys in the third and fourth round that can fill that role. That's the conversations that we have, and so these guys can get the quarterback they want. NH Dolphins fan said Tua looked good today in his virtual pro day. I'm happy for him. He looked good all season before he got hurt. He looked good the year before that. He's a great quarterback who's going to always look good when he's on the field. When he's on the field. I got to be honest with y'all. I'm starting to get more and more nerve-wracked because we're getting closer and closer to judgment. We're getting closer and closer. And I'm so sorry, y'all. Deion Jordan would have been a better example. I like that. But we're getting closer and closer to judgment. We're getting closer and closer, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. We're getting closer and closer, and I'm getting nervous. True talk, real talk, y'all. I'm getting nervous. None of y'all nervous? None of y'all nervous. Oh, my God, that made me laugh. Anthony A. said wait, what did he say? Oh, my gosh. Anthony, funny, man. Anthony say all this mess got me puffing reefer again. Oh, Lord, man. TD, I came in late. Did you talk about the failed physicals? Von Joe, I ain't talk about the failed physicals because it doesn't change anything. Why would the failed physicals change anything, ladies and gentlemen? Should it change anything? Let me give you the example. Tua Tagovailoa, greatest player of all time. You know, I'm just giving it to him so nobody can sit here and debate with me. Okay? Tua Tagovailoa, greatest player of all time. 12 injuries in his college career. Brittle. Always something. And then we say, TD, did you hear about his failed physical? That changed nothing. It's still Tua Tagovailoa, greatest player of all time, brittle. Always something. So when I heard the failed physical, I talked about it a little like, man, look, this guy got people failing this physical. But it wasn't a big deal to me. I know some of y'all expected me to pounce on it like, man, the guy got failed physicals. Teams are no, it's not news. Tua Tagovailoa having failing physicals or having unknown injuries and all that, I don't even care. It's not news. We already know who he is. Now, if all of a sudden he comes into this NFL and never gets hurt, kudos. I'm happy for him. Of course, I would. There's a piece of me that would say, man, I wish we would have took him. There might be if we get somebody who sucks for years to come. If it goes, that's normal. We get all that, but that doesn't mean that you have to shy away from your principles. I read something today that said this: if Tua Tagovailoa is available at 5, the Dolphins will take him. This is what I read. I want y'all to understand the context of what I'm reading. If Tua Tagovailoa is available at 5, the Dolphins will take him. Because if he fails in the NFL, nobody will be mad at Grier for him failing in the NFL or getting hurt or anything like that, because you got to take that chance with that talent. This is what they said. They said, Chris Grier, nobody will care, so Chris Grier will be fine. That's why they're going to take him. They're definitely going to take Tua, because if they make a mistake and he ends up being what everybody was scared of, nobody's going to blame Chris Grier for it. That's what they said. Then they said, but if they don't take Tua and he ends up balling out in the league, Chris Grier is gone, fired. I can only hope that Stephen Ross doesn't feel the same way. They're basically, it's almost like saying Grier, it's almost like insulting Grier. It's almost like you should go with Tua because at least you have an out. You have a scapegoat. Because if he doesn't fail out, nobody's going to be mad at you for picking him because you just had to. No, you got to get this right, Grier. You know why you got to get it right? Because it's been 20 freaking years since the quarterback position has been right. And you've helped attribute to picking some of them. It's been 20 years. You got to get it right. Ain't no out. Ain't no if you get Tua and he don't pan out, you're okay. No. You want to fire. If you pick Tua and that man get hurt and become a bust in this league, that's on you, Grier. That's all on you. Don't tell me he gets a pass for ignoring the signs. No. Well, I mean, what are we, fans? What kind of fans are we? Well, he picked the guy I wanted, even though he didn't pan out to be. I'm going to give him a pass because I wanted him to. No, it was wrong. You were wrong too. But you're not getting paid. He's getting paid to be right. You can be wrong all you want. As fans, we can say, oh, I wanted him too. He was a bust. Boy, was I wrong. No love lost. But not Chris Grier. You don't let nobody's off the hook in this organization anymore. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I hope Stephen Ross sees it that way. You pick that man and he don't turn out to be that guy or he gets hurt, that's on you, Grier. Don't give me that crap about, oh, he'll be, yeah, we all get it. No. You got to take chances sometimes. No, you don't. Chances are playing the lottery. How many times do we have to go through this about the lottery? Well, you got to take a chance sometimes. Have any of y'all ever been to the casino and pulled that thing down? You put your money in, you pull the lever. Go ask anybody that work in the casino, how often does that machine hit a jackpot? Well, and you know what that is? You know how often somebody hit a jackpot on a single machine? You probably got to pull it about 30,000 times at $1 each, 30,000 times. And then when you hit the jackpot, you probably only win $5,000. You don't put in 30,000, pulled it 30,000. You don't put in $30,000, pulling it $1 at a time for 30,000 times. And then when you hit the jackpot, it's only 5,000. They done made their money off you anyway. And that's what it is with Tua Tagovailoa. You're gambling. You're trying to hit the jackpot, and your odds are terrible. But you know what? Keep on making you pull the lever, because you pull and you win. Oh, I won $120 that time. And then you play that 120 all the way down. Oh, I won 60 this time. Then you play that 60 all the way down. Oh, I won 20. I'm out of money. Reload. That's what you call gambling, ladies and gentlemen. That's gambling. So pulling that lever on Tua Tagovailoa, you are gambling with some of the worst odds in this draft. See, everybody's even across the board when you're getting drafted. You can either be a bust or you're not. The person in the 5th round can be better than the number 1 overall quarterback. You don't know. But when you start adding factors in that you do know, now you tripping. Now you tripping. Now you are tripping. That's like going into a casino and they saying we got 2 games. One, you win 1 out of every 2 times. The other, you win 1 out of every 100 times. Which one would you like to play? Some of y'all over there are pulling that 1 out of every 100. It makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense. And that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. It makes no sense, man. This guy ain't coming into the draft like everybody else. Okay, give me 1 injury. Okay, give me 2. Give me 3. But okay. Give me 4. Give me 5. Give me 6. But this guy had 12. Like, come on. And the sad part about this is Devontae Parker should teach you everything you need to know. Do you think if Tua has a first 4 years like Devontae Parker, that he's going to make it to the 5th year with the Miami Dolphins? Do you think that's going to happen? If he gets hurt like Devontae Parker's history was in the first 4 years, do you think our quote-unquote franchise quarterback with all these new shiny pieces and free agency in the draft, wasting years of their football prime, you think that he's going to stick around and be the guy if he's a Devontae Parker, even if he turns out to be great in year 5? He ain't going to make it to year 5 on this roster. So you can't even count on a late bloomer with him. You can't even count on him to bloom late or just all of a sudden have a rock solid body late. That's something that ain't gonna never happen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that straight now. See, and then I'm watching all these articles, them trying to justify Tua's injury proneness. They say things like, people need to give Tua more credit for being tough. Tough ain't got nothing to do with being injury prone. You break your leg, I'm happy that you limped for the rest of the play. You're tough. You still hurt. We still can't rely on you to play at your full potential and use every attribute that was given to you to be special. None whatsoever. Somebody said TD is of little faith. Listen, I got all the faith in the world in you, my good fellow, and I love you, Carlos, but don't question my faith. Because my faith also teaches you to use wisdom. Study up, homie. My faith also teaches to use wisdom. Having faith about stuff that you just need to use wisdom with. Come on, man. Wisdom. Oh, I believe $100 just gonna fly in this room right now. No, use some wisdom. Come on now. Come on. EM Dolphin fan said, prepare yourself, TD. One thing I will tell you, I'm prepared though, EM. That's why I wanted to make sure I said what I just said about Greer. I am very prepared. The Miami Dolphins with the 5th overall pick select Tua Tagovailoa. Up with my clock. Greer on the clock. That's all it is. It don't make or break. Because if he hits and Tua becomes the greatest of all time, Greer, thank you for knowing what you're talking about. Thank you for taking that chance that I wouldn't have. It's nothing to prepare for. I'm already prepared. I just personally don't believe it's the safest thing to do nor the smartest thing to do. But that's what he get paid for. He gets paid to make sure he knows more than me. He gets paid to make sure he's right more than me. That's what Chris Grier gets paid to do. So I expect him to know more and be right more than I am. And that's why he's going to be on the clock. Because he get it wrong, something ain't right here. You might well hire me and put me there if I keep getting it right and he getting it wrong. But no matter what he does, I'm going to have all the faith. If you're looking for the faith, I'm going to have all the faith in the world that he made the best decision and he understands or sees something that I don't. And I'm going to learn to appreciate and grow to understand it as time goes. That's all. That's all we can say. So all y'all who don't want us to draft Tua Tagovailoa, don't be poor sports. If they call his name at number 5 coming across that stage, you pick your head up and you say, I trust that the decision they just made was the correct one, and I'm going to learn more as this unfolds of why they made it, and I'm going to grow to appreciate it if it all goes right. And that's all we can hope, or let me take the word hope, have faith happens. That's all we can do. That's it. So hopefully that's the case. If they select him, please, I'm the one that I'll be begging. Please stay healthy. Please have a good career. Please help us get to a Super Bowl. Please, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm at the mercy of you, the guy who just didn't want you on the team. Please do it for us. That's what it turns into. It don't make me feel any type of way. That's our guy. He gets selected as our quarterback. That's our boy. We gotta support him. We can't just rag him. We're not gonna have that type of team. And TDPHINSTALK ain't gonna be like that over here. We're not gonna be ragging and not supporting the kid if his name get called to be on this roster. Now that ain't right. We support our players no matter what. Jack said Watson for 2 firsts. Problem over. Use draft capital. Everybody keep on talking about this Watson for 2 firsts stuff, but again, where you gonna get the money to pay Watson? Where you gonna get your $40 million a year that he's about to be due? We can hope the salary cap goes up to 265, like rumors have it. I don't think it's gonna go that high because that's massive. From 200 to 265, I don't know about that. We can hope, but where we gonna have the money to pay him? After we draft these players, we got $8 million, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we going to get the money to do that? Now, if you want to bring that scenario up and we actually trading a few people, that's a whole different story. We own now. It's fair game. Fair game at that point. It's me said bad coaching scheme and bad game preparation as well as bad strength and conditioning gets the QB hurt. If Burrow and Tua are gone at 5, put QB off. Oh, it's me. Are you talking about just wait to 2021? I think you got to try to grab one of those other guys at 18. If Burrow or Tua is gone, you got to try to grab one of those guys at 18. But all of them might be going at 18, believe it or not. But that's where you might want to take number 5 and trade back to 12 and 19 with the Raiders or something like that. That's where you might want to do that and then try to secure one of those guys at 12. So I get your sentiments, but it's a lot of things they can do. It's just we don't know which ones they will do. It's going to be real interesting, though, man. Real interesting. Quint said Watson is the as Tua injuries. I don't know what he meant by that. Watson is the as Tua injuries. I don't know. Y'all help me decipher that. Typo Quint. At least I don't comprehend it. My bad, bro. Just write it down. Hopefully I see it so that I can reread it and understand it. Let me make sure I ain't just tripping. Watson is the ass to injuries. I don't know. All right. TD was the same guy who wanted Long over Matt Ryan. What? You mean Jake Long? What are you talking about? If you're talking about Jake Long, a part of me don't even want to respond to that. If you weren't happy that we drafted Jake Long, you tripping. You're tripping. Maybe that ain't what you were talking about. I don't know. I have no idea. If you weren't happy we drafted Jake Long, I don't know what to tell you. All right? Even though we end up trading him too before he made it to his next deal. I don't know. Jake Long was monster. Exactly. I don't know what that person's talking about. I'm the one who wanted Jake Long over Matt Ryan. Once again, if you heard me at the beginning of this stream, if I don't want Dan Marino early in the 90s, who was the greatest quarterback of all time, but never won, then why would I care about Matt Ryan, who wasn't as good as Dan Marino and couldn't win a Super Bowl? Matter of fact, how do you dominate a game? You got the Super Bowl in your, the trophy's already sitting in your house. Super Bowl MVP's already in your house. And you let the Patriots come take it away at the end of the game? Like, if you saw the deficit, like, how did that happen? So, yeah, I wanted Jake Long over Matt Ryan. Out of here with that mess, man. Absolutely I did. Especially looking at the way our O-line has been so long. Jake Long was a huge pickup for us at the time. Amazing pickup by the Dolphins. Come on, man. Quint said, oh, this is the repeat. Watson is the same as Tua injuries. I already told y'all I ain't that sold on Watson. But I would take Watson if we ain't had to pay him so much. I like Watson. I think that he's not above average. He's not an above average quarterback. He's a great quarterback. See, I got different levels. I got elite, great, above average, average, and the rest of y'all don't matter. And he's not above average. He's a great quarterback. And I like that about him. I don't look at him as the elites like some of y'all. But again, you see, that's another thing. That's why I don't care. When y'all talk about we need a great, amazing quarterback, all I think about is Dan Marino. We had one. Didn't matter. What you need is a great team. You need everybody in every position complementing each other. One moment. My bad. That's what you need, man. Charger base.
No.
You need one? All right, one moment, guys. I got you, man.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You good?
Appreciate it.
You welcome. Love you. Oh man. From in the second, New England kind of guy. Fits for safety. Hey, listen, I don't care, man. You can bring in whoever they want to bring in. Just get a guy a fair shot. That's just how I look at it, all right? That's exactly how I look at it, man. Get a guy a fair shot, man. But listen, man, my biggest thing is Greer is going to be on the clock. Whatever decision he makes, I'm going to support. And I'm going to sit back and evaluate it. We won't know what the outcome is going to be for a few years. But at least I hope so. Hope we don't know right away that, no. I really do hope so. Somebody said, your takes are horrible. I appreciate you. You should subscribe to the channel, man. You might like one out of every 1,000 takes. I don't know. We should draft Judy or Simmons at 5. I'm down with Simmons. I ain't down with the Jerry Judy. I just think that wide receivers, man, you can find good wide receivers and have a whole bunch of them on your team that are reliable and catch the ball. They don't have to be superstars and take the top. I mean, you'd love for them to take the top off the defense, but they don't have to be. You could just have a whole bunch of really good guys instead of trying to bring the great guy in that's going to ask for 16, 17 million at some point. That's just how I look at it. Vic said, amen, brother. That's what I'm saying. Dallas for the Super Bowl. I like that. My wife would like it at least. Man, Hurts at 39. I know you can get some of those guys in the later rounds. Listen, I wouldn't even be opposed to, if they do go Tua at 5, go get a Hurts or something later in the second or third. I wouldn't even be opposed to that. At least bring in some. If he's going to be that injury prone, at least bring in some insurance. Bring some insurance in. At least let me look at it that way. Bring some insurance in. Okay? You're going to need it. It's just like that phone screen always cracking. At some point, you just like have any of y'all phone screen on these expensive phones? Has it cracked and you ain't have insurance? And you realize how much you got to pay to get it fixed? Might well get insurance, man. You might as well get insurance. And the sucky thing about insurance, you still got to pay a little something too. So no, man. Bring some. If you get Tua, bring some insurance in. We have Rosen for backup. I agree. And if we do bring in Tua, man, listen, I want to see this guy dropping back in camp. That's another thing. His team out here saying all this stuff about he 100% healthy and he ready to go day one camp. Whoever drafted him, I don't want to hear no mess day one camp. I don't want to hear nothing day one camp. If he ready, he ready. And if Tua, quote unquote, is 100% healthy and we get him at 5, I understand we want to sit a guy down for a year, but scratch all that. If he better than Fitz, throw him in there. Ain't that what we did to everybody else? If he's that good, throw him in there then. No, don't throw him in there because then, no. Not until I know this offensive line is fixed. Because then I'll be mad if Tua get hurt early, especially because of the O-line. And then you know what everybody going to say? Man, the only reason he got hurt because his O-line sucked, TD, man. Get a guy a break. Y'all ain't going to have me talk about Tannehill. We go, if we do draft Tua, it's going to be hilarious seeing how hard it is for some people to keep the same energy. Same energy. TD, you have to understand, playing it safe won't win Super Bowls. That won't get us over the hump. We need a great quarterback and an amazing pass rusher. Oh, you want something? I'll call back. That's fine. So Edwin, I'm happy you left that comment because I do believe you need a great pass rusher or a collective group getting to the quarterback. But why do people keep saying you need a great QB? Is it because of Tom Brady? Is Tom Brady the reason why everybody's saying you need a great QB? Is that the reason why? Because there's been some quarterbacks that aren't great that won Super Bowl. Matter of fact, it's been a few. It ain't like a one-hit wonder. There's been a few that have won Super Bowls. Just as many as the greats that won one Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, how many Super Bowls he got? How many Super Bowls Aaron Rodgers got? So at the end of the day, how much different is he from Joe Flacco? Oh, TD, you tripping. He way better than Joe Flacco. I agree. They both got one Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer. I agree. Way better. They both got one Super Bowl. What difference? We know Aaron Rodgers is great. But what's the difference? What has he done since? People also don't realize it's almost like Aaron Rodgers has been on a 7-8 year hiatus. He's been so irrelevant for like 7-8 years, and he's still living off of when he won a Super Bowl of how great he is. That boy there, he's a bad man that ain't been doing nothing but going to the first or second round for so long. Like, come on. We act like the great quarterback is the one who takes you to the Super Bowl. No, the team does. Go check Aaron Rodgers' resume. He did it on his rookie deal. Go check all their resumes, rookie deals. The only one that ain't doing on a rookie deal was Tom Brady, because he took pay cuts, of course, so you might as well say rookie deal, and Peyton Manning, because he had a historic defense. You need a great quarterback. The history don't tell you that. It does not tell you that. Well, what history does tell you, you need a great defense. History sure tells you that. Patrick Mahomes, if you ask me, he was the first one to defy history. He was the first one to defy history. But y'all get so caught up in looking at Patrick Mahomes and you get jealous and you drool and marvel over him that you think that that's what you need. We're going to see how long that lasts. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes won't last. But history keeps telling us over and over again that he's going to always be good. But as soon as he comes off this rookie deal, he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Just like Aaron Rodgers. Just like Russell Wilson. Won while they were on their rookie deal, and then what have you done for me since? Well, don't do that. I've been getting to the playoffs. I've been getting to the first round. I even made it to the second round that year. That's all they good for after that. So back to the topic, we can either build a dynasty or repeat the last 30 years. Dan Marino was a great quarterback. Do we want to repeat those years? Oh, well, he went to the playoffs a lot. What is the goal here? What are we trying to accomplish? The playoffs or a Super Bowl? We done already been through an era of going to the first round so many times and getting knocked out. Y'all remember that era too? Come on, man. Come on. Let's put two and two together. Let's put two and two together, man. It's right here in front of you, all the information. TD, it takes a good running back to see what you actually have at O-line. Also, a QB can make his O-line look better with pocket presence. Aqua Vision. Everything you're saying right now is somewhat correct. And the only reason I say somewhat, because I don't want to diminish anything you said. You're right. But when you say that, we got to make sure we don't leave out the facts. You said, TD, it takes a good running back to see what you actually have at O-line. Actually, I apologize, Aqua. I just totally disagree. It don't take a good running back to see what you have on the O-line, because a good running back is going to break tackles that the O-line whiffed on. A good running back is going to beat a guy around the edge that wasn't set by the right tackle or the left tackle. A good running back is going to mask the O-line. So how can you give an O-line credit for having a good running back? That ain't how that works. A good O-line will help you see your running back too. If you got a good O-line, even if you ain't got a good running back, he's going to have better numbers if you got a great O-line. But what you want a good line for is to allow your running back to get to the second level and then let him put his show on. Jerry Jones proved this point. Jerry Jones had Darren McFadden on that Dallas Cowboys line. And then he had, what is his name? What's his name? The guy who replaced Darren McFadden before Zeke. He went to the Eagles after that. What is his name? Y'all help me out in the comment section, because y'all know. What is his name in Dallas? He replaced Darren McFadden right before Zeke. DeMarco Murray. Thank you. DeMarco Murray, Darren McFadden had a 1,000-yard season with that O-line. Jerry Jones let him ride, and then DeMarco Murray came in and had a 1,000-yard season. Matter of fact, 13, 14, 1,500 yards, whatever DeMarco Murray had. Everybody like, pay the man, pay the man. Jerry Jones went on live TV and said, y'all shut up. A Mack truck can run through this line. He let DeMarco Murray go. Fan base mad. In comes Zeke. In comes Ezekiel Elliott. And he ran through the same line. But guess what happened this year? He got his money. For some reason, the offense, everybody in Dallas will contest to this. The offensive line didn't play up to their normal standard, and that's why Zeke ain't have as productive of a year. That's why he wasn't putting up so many 100-yard games, but 58 and 70 at times. Because Jerry Jones discovered him, and he was right. A Mack truck can run through this line. The whole fan base was mad that DeMarco Murray, he let him go. And they forgot about that soon because Jerry Jones was right. O-line, baby, that's where it started in the trenches. You got an elite O-line, I don't care who you got at running back. They going to produce. It may not be 1,600 yards, but it might be 11. They're going to produce. Your quarterback may not have you ain't got to have a great quarterback. He may not have 5,000 yards, but he's going to have 4,200. A great O-line is what a great O-line makes the quarterback better. Don't sit here and argue that. A great O-line makes the running back numbers better, makes the quarterback better, everything better. Imagine Tannehill with a elite great O-line. Well, we just kind of seen it, even though people don't realize that O-line actually isn't good in pass protection. That's what a lot of people didn't realize about Tennessee. They were actually in the fourth quartile for pass protection. They were a great running O-line. But imagine that same O-line Dallas had. Dak Prescott benefited from it as well. So it starts with the O-line. Don't start giving impact players like running backs, wide receivers, or quarterbacks saying that they make the O-line better. First of all, nobody makes the O-line better, a matter of fact, when you really think about it. Running back don't make no O-line better. Quarterback don't make no O-line better unless he's helping them call protections that they don't see. I get all that. And I get the quarterback dropping back the pass. He slid over to the right. That ain't making the O-line better. That's making the quarterback better. That's him making himself better. The O-line is the O-line. You can give me the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest running back of all time. How about you give me Miami Dolphins offensive line the first 5 games this year? And you're going to be telling that running back he need to go somewhere. You're going to be talking about we need to draft a quarterback. That's facts. That is facts, man. Period, man. It starts in the trenches. It always started in the trenches. And the crazy thing is it ends there too. It ends there too, man. You got to have those trenches locked down. Think about it, man. Just put 2 and 2 together. To me, that's common sense to me. O-line. How can a running back make the O-line better? Really? Even if he breaks tackles and get out of there, that don't make the O-line better. They still suck. He shouldn't even had to break the tackle. Or I guess on paper it makes them look better because, hey, they didn't give up a tackle for the loss because the running back broke it. No, but when you're a coach or a GM, you're looking at film and you're like, even though that was a 30-yard run from the running back, God, dog, the O-line sucked. The right guard whiffed on that. Luckily, the running back broke that tackle, but that don't make the O-line better. The O-line still suck. We need to build an O-line that ain't even putting our running back in that situation. So please, I'm begging y'all, don't start thinking that, oh, we need the quarterback to make the O-line better. We need the running back to make the O-line better. Trenches, 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 trenches. Get the O-line straight. Fix that O-line. Fix the O-line. It's a reason Balaj goes from rushing for 5.2 yards per carry to all of a sudden 1.7. There's a reason for that. Yeah, but he sucks, TD. Well, he ain't sucked the year before. Explain that. The line was so much worse in the run game. Then we say things like, well, the guys were doing a little bit better late in the season running the ball, though, when it was different running backs, because we were out of the shotgun doing halfback draws running the ball. We got to fix that O-line, man. Or your whatever quarterback you want or the one that you choose, it ain't going to matter. We got to fix the O-line. We got to fix the O-line. You know how many times receivers were tired of running routes? They turn around and they quarterback already getting off the ground. Receiver 30 yards down the field like, oh, yeah, I'm beating my guy. They look back like, please, ball be coming. And they already huddling up. Y'all don't act like y'all don't remember that. Kenny Stills, Mike Wallace, 40 yards down the field. They done burnt their man. And they look back with their arm up like, come on, throw me the ball. And the offensive lineman already walking back to the huddle. They like, gosh, I could have stopped running 10 yards down the field. I'm 40 yards down here now. That's what a sorry O-line gets you. And that's why receivers can't make the O-line better either. Just like a running back, man. It's crazy, man. Did Barry Sanders, if he had a good O-line, he wasn't going to make the O-line better. He was just going to eat regardless. Yeah, I think y'all missing the principle here. The running back doesn't make the O-line better. The running back is just so good that he can get out of the mess that the O-line creates. But stop saying that he made him better. Stop saying that any running back can make an O-line better. That's not possible. So when you say Barry Sanders, yes, Barry Sanders will break tackles that an O-line allows to come through. But he ain't make them better. He made himself better by showing that regardless of the O-line, I'm going to get through anyway. That don't mean your O-line's better because you got Barry Sanders. No, not at all. Not at all, man. You can say it over and over. It doesn't, I don't know if we go back. It doesn't make it true, TD. It ain't got to make it true for you, but I'm saying it. So I'm going to say it over and over, and hopefully some people understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand what I'm saying, keep your philosophy. It's just your thought process of football. I disagree with it, but it don't make you wrong. You're right in your mind, and I'm right in mine. Don't make me right. Don't make me wrong. Don't make you right. Don't make you wrong. It's for everybody else to decide. I'm just giving them my thought process. That's it. You see here. Oh, let me see. Let me hide that off the screen. Why is it frozen? Oh, there it is. All right, man. But listen, back to the subject at hand. Miami Dolphins can either build a dynasty or repeat the last 30 years. So we can keep on thinking that another player like Dan Marino is the answer when he wasn't even the answer then. And no knock on him, the greatest of all time, like I said. We can keep thinking another Ricky Williams is the answer, but he wasn't the answer then. We need to build a top 5 defense in this league. Get an O-line that's going to help us have great balance on offense, running the ball, play action, run and gun, however you want to look at it. That's what we need. We need balance. The one thing that we haven't had in a long time is balance. We've always worked on one area and got better in that area, but that area sucked. What you need to win is balance. Balance, 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 man. Let me put this on here. Copy, paste. I just put it in there for you, Reason. I just put the link down low if you still wanted to come in, bro. But you gotta have balance, man. So if you want to create a dynasty, you gotta have balance. Balance, balance, balance. That's what it takes. Start out with the defense, making sure you got a great defense. And then you want to go make sure that you got the O-line. Those are the 2 top priorities, in my opinion. Defense, number 1. Number 2, offensive line trenches. Because that's what's going to make your running game better. That's what's going to make your quarterback better. It's going to give your quarterback the necessary time to throw the ball. It's going to give your running back the necessary lanes to show their full potential. There is no other way outside of that. And that's been the winning formula. And I'm going to be honest, even the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, you know what they did extremely well in the Super Bowl game that nobody really noticed? Matter of fact, let me not say the Super Bowl game, but the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl game. They did one thing very, very, very well that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about. They actually ran the ball very well in the playoffs. Nobody talks about that because nobody even saw them as a running threat coming into these playoffs. But the one thing they did so well in these playoffs this year, they ain't do none of it in the regular season. But this year, they ran the ball very well. Everybody just wants to talk about Mahomes and Mahomes. What really put that game where it needed to be, AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, was the running game, the first downs. Damian Williams, 8. And who should have been the Super Bowl MVP? People argue with me about that, but it is what it is. I personally feel like Damian Williams should have been the Super Bowl MVP. That man had he put the most impact on that game. The other guy was actually giving the game away with them turnovers. That's a fact. No matter how many times I say it. Oh, man. See, Mahomes carried the Chiefs in the fourth quarter. True or not, TD? True. But they would have never been in the deficit that they were in if he didn't give them a deficit in the first 3 quarters. And also, who sealed the game in the fourth quarter? True or false? Damian Williams, man. They ran well because teams were focused on passing attack. I agree, but that's what gave them balance. It allowed them to have balance in the playoffs. The fear of the passing game allowed them to have balance. And truth be told, these teams somewhat locked down that passing game outside of the fourth quarter. And why didn't they lock it down in the fourth quarter? Because Damian Williams was killing them so much, they had to start focusing on the run. So now they had the perfect balance this year. That team had the perfect balance in the playoffs, not the regular season. But in the playoffs, they had the perfect balance. Perfect balance, man. Damian Williams ran all over them in the first 3 quarters. Then in the fourth quarter, they said, since we're down, we got to stop this run. And that's when Patrick Mahomes started going off. It's crazy, man. So it's a give and take. You give both of them credit. You give Patrick Mahomes credit for putting the work in during the season to allow Damian Williams to have that free go at it in the first 3 quarters of running the ball down their throat, because they came in saying, let's stop Mahomes, and Damian Williams was killing them. And then whenever they said, hey, we can't stop. I mean, we doing very well against Mahomes, but we can't give up the run game like this. Let's just go back to basics. Now Mahomes eats. So that's why it's perfect balance. They worked off of each other. Damian Williams helped him. He helped Damian Williams. It was a perfect blend, man. Perfect blend, but he still should have been the Super Bowl MVP because he put in work 3 quarters in a row and he sealed the game in the fourth. We want to award Super Bowl MVP to the guy who actually gave away turnovers, actually turned the ball over in the freaking Super Bowl. How many times again? I don't even remember. Was turning the ball over, giving it away. And we want to, he's the reason they had the deficit in the first place. But we want to say he's the Super Bowl MVP. Come on, man. If you think that Patrick Mahomes was a Super Bowl MVP, you know what? I ain't going to knock you because it's arguable. I guess some people, you could argue it. I guess you could argue it. I'll leave that one alone. All right. But I personally feel like Damian Williams should have been the Super Bowl MVP. Never should have got rid of Damian Williams. Back then I wasn't even following his situation much. I know he was a good back, young, but we can say that. But, looking back now, the Dolphins had Damian Williams. That's what's really sad. Yeah, I think Mahomes was MVP, but Damian Williams was a close second. Man, TD, should we go O-line at 5 in the draft? I would, but it depends on who's there. In other words, I wouldn't be mad if we do, but I'd rather go O-line at see, that's the thing. My sweet spot for getting my O-lineman is the early teens. Give me, or you actually 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I like to get my O-lineman right there, but we don't pick right there. See, I said this the other day. We're in an odd situation of where we draft. Number 5 is beautiful, but based off of all the talent coming out, the best person you can get at 5 ain't a primary need of ours. And the primary needs you can also get of ours at 12, 13, 14. That's what's tough. Outside of quarterback, of course, that's a primary need. You can get them at 5. I get that. But again, the person we keep talking about has all those risks, so it's scary too. And then the other guys, Herbert and Love, it's like, you should still be able to pull one of them at 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's almost like we're either going to reach or we're going to take a risk. Or they can shock all of us and actually get the old lineman at 5, or Derek Brown at 5, or Isaiah Simmons at 5 if available, or Kuda at 5 if available. They could shock all of us and do that. I wouldn't be surprised. Worth, yeah, at 5. Could happen. It could happen, y'all. It could happen. So I'm not sure, man. It's going to be interesting. But again, an old lineman at 5, we could, but it's not. I don't think that's at the top of the list. But I know it probably is one of the scenarios. It's just not the top scenario. That's my thoughts. TD would trade the 5 and 18 pick for Watson. I would, because he's done enough in this league to prove that he can play football and do it at a very high level. The problem is, again, we keep talking about this. How are you going to pay him? You got to go look at our books. How are you going to pay the man? We picking at the beginning, middle, and end. Yes. Is Worth better than Becton? I personally feel so. Some people don't. I'm with you. Trade 5th pick. Man, if we trade the 5th pick, I'm going to jump for joy. I don't think it's going to happen, though. If 2 is there at 5, we may be taking that risk. But I'm fine with that as long as we don't move up to take that risk. That would actually hurt. That would hurt if we actually moved up to take that risk. If they get Watson, they can make it work at TDPHINSTALK. In many ways, the cap isn't a real thing to worry about. The cap is a real thing to worry about. I don't know why people say that, because if the cap wasn't a real thing to worry about, you wouldn't have all these great players coming off of these rosters every free agency because they can't afford to keep them all. The Legion of Boom would still be together today if the cap isn't a real thing to worry about. There's so many teams that would still be together today if the cap wasn't anything to worry about. The New England wouldn't be getting rid of an all-pro left tackle if the cap wasn't anything real to worry about. The cap is and always will be something real to worry about. No question about it. What's up, Reason, man?
Not too bad. How are you doing, bro? How's your night going?
I'm okay, man. I'm glad to be on tonight. Yesterday, man, just had a lot of stuff going on. Had to take care of, but I'm happy to be here with the peeps tonight. What's up with you, man?
Not too much, man. Just literally finished the last period of my offensive tackle big board right up, and then I came in and I logged in and I saw you guys were talking about offensive tackle, and I was like, the irony. So,
man, help us out, man. Well, first I want you to answer. Does the running back make the offensive line better?
No.
I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't trip it. I
No,
just wanted to make sure,
because
man.
especially when you got a guy like Balaj, who's not known for his vision and finding and creating holes himself, you're even more dependent on that line to open up the gaps for him to hit and to him to run through. Like, not every running back has that shifty vision to create holes and get through them when they don't look like they're there. So, those are a dime a dozen, that, TD. So for the most part, a lot of running backs depend on those holes to open up. Not everyone's Barry Sanders. So,
But even if it was Barry Sanders, does Barry Sanders make the O-line better?
No. You know what he does? He hides the deficiencies until someone who's not as good as him comes back there. That's all he does.
Y'all better listen to the voice of reason, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, man. I don't know what some people's thought processes are when it comes to this game, man. But 13 days away, reason, man. How do you feel about it?
We're Tua Tagovailoa days away, bro. 13. How does that feel? Or for the Tua haters, we're Dan Marino days away. There you go.
I'll take that one.
I'll play both sides. Yo, man, I'm excited, bro. Like, dude, bro, first of all, I was so hyped at the fact that we were all possibly going to get together in Vegas.
Yeah, man. That's so exciting.
But the way it was set up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is going to be just as good, man. I think this is going to be just as good because a lot of us are going to have our information in front of us, the notes we have, et cetera, that we can access like within the blink of an eye. So, man, that first night, all the rounds I'm excited about, but that first night, man, the anticipation it feels like Christmas. It feels like I'm waiting for Santa Claus to come down the chimney.
Yeah, but still, man, it feels like Santa came down the chimney and he didn't bring you a big box wrapped. He brought you this small little box, but it could still be something good, but you don't know, man. You don't know. I'm nervous, though, reason. I'm nervous.
What are you most nervous about?
Getting it right. Just getting it right. I don't care who that entails. I don't care who it entails. It could be two, it could be anyone. Just getting it right because we won't know for a while. We're literally at that pivotal moment where 5 years from now, we're going to look back and say, we could have had this person, or I'm glad we got this person. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to look back at this moment right here. Nobody really thinks about it that way, but this is one of those moments.
It's a defining moment for sure. 100, because the last time we saw anyone have any semblance of this kind of capital, the Cleveland Browns took Trent Richardson and Brandon Wheaton like in the first round. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm glad you said that because Ball Game said they can't miss, bro. Now I know what you mean, Ball Game, because all this talent they can't miss, but they can still miss. Yeah. They can still blow our mind. Like, this guy was on the board. Why would you take him? That guy was on the board. Why would you take? They can miss now. Come on now.
Especially under the current circumstances of the world right now. This is where the tape is going to be more important than ever because a lot of these guys are going to get their one-on-one evaluations, their interviews, et cetera, and that means something, man. I tell people all the time, there's a reason why, especially when it comes to selecting a quarterback, for these pro days, teams that are really interested send 20, 25, sometimes 30 scouts just to look at one player at his pro day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like I'm not saying it is, but video can be doctored, video can be edited, bad throws can be taken out, etc. I'm not saying it's happening, but I'm saying it's feasible. I mean,
Let me tell you what makes me skeptical about Tua. And
you love that tape that came out today, though. Come on.
Seriously, reason. This is what makes me skeptical about him, and I think that you might even agree with it. This offseason with Tua Tagovailoa, does it not feel like even within himself, things are being forced upon us? Like, it's almost like he's trying to sell himself. And I get that. I mean, I would sell myself too, but you don't get that sense of, hey, I am who I am. These teams know who I am. Let's let this day happen. And I plan on going in the first round high or first overall or fifth or third. But it's almost like that's what makes me nervous. It's almost like that feeling of knowing something's wrong, but hey, I can't miss on this opportunity of still being drafted as high as possible. Let's make a tape. Let's do this. Let's talk to that person on the air. Let's talk about how I'll love to be with that team. It just seems forced to a degree, like he's overselling himself, trying to hide something. It just feels that way.
So someone who I followed for a while, his name's Dr. Chow. He's a former team doctor. I believe he was with the San Diego Chargers for like 20 years or something. And before that, he got his medical degree, et cetera, et cetera. He's been pretty good in terms of going back to last season when he sees clips, diagnosing what he sees on film that it's going to be, and that injury turning out to be what he diagnosed. So he saw what Tua was doing today, and he said he looks good, definitely going to be a high first-round pick, but he did say there's no way as of today he's 100%. Like he said, there's no way that he's 100%.
His team came out and said he was 100.
I haven't heard 100.
No, his team. I've heard
he's going to be ready for. I've heard he's going to be ready for training camp.
I sent it to you tonight in the chat. His team said he's 100%.
And from what came out, what was it, last Thursday or the Thursday before? Because he participated in the combine evaluation recheck. Like he went to the combine, and there was an NFL doctor that was brought in by and agreed upon by all these NFL teams to examine him. I think there was 2 of them, and they didn't say 100%. They said overwhelmingly positive.
I think that one of the teams was Tennessee, because they've been on the record to say that he was one of the few that actually got to have a physical with them. One of their doctors. He had a physical with the Tennessee Titans.
It was 2 weeks ago. It was a week ago, it was a Thursday. I think it was a week
Whatever his mock pro thing was or whatever, they said they were actually able to go through a physical with him. So that's the only team on record of reporting that.
And this Dr. Chow individual, you can all follow him on Twitter at ProFootballDoc. And he has a website. It's a very good website too that you can. I think it's free still, the subscription, but he's going to go to a subscription service soon. Anyways, he said in terms of the likely recurrence of it is very minimal.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
So I think you're more worried. So if people can't even use the hip, you're more worried is that he could get hit anywhere and it could be a problem, right? That's more of your concern.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, one of them guys, Bosa, come around that corner and
build a brick wall, bro. You know what I'm telling you? I'm a proponent.
I agree.
Listen to you. And I don't even talk about this in my big board show, but listen to me. Bro, use that 18th pick. Listen, if you draft Tua Tagovailoa, use that 18th pick
for his tackle.
Move it up and go get Wirfs or Wills, the top 2 natural right tackles, and then that 26th pick, believe me, pass on Austin Jackson, take a Josh Jones. Man, there you go. You got your left, you got your right, and then build the interior in the deeper rounds, bro. And just keep going.
I'll take it a step further. If Tua's going to be the guy and you want to build a wall, the best wall in the league around him, then you take number 5 and you go get Tua Tagovailoa. You take number 18 in the second round pick and move up to about 9 or 10. You think they can get it done? And you get the best tackle you can. Then you take number 26 and you take that other second round pick, as far as I care, and move up again and go get the opposite tackle. I don't care. Yeah. If you're going to get this guy, you're going to leverage the future on him, make it 0 excuses, get his 2 anchors on the side. I think we got enough interior guys right now that are interchangeable, that can fill the void, and he will have a wall in front of him.
Give me a right guard. I'll take a right guard.
Yeah, of course. And maybe I don't care if you go in next year's draft and bring it back into this year's. Get that man a great wall this year in the first and second round, period. And then whenever he got his wall, let him sit back there. Let him feel like Brady and let him feel like Mahomes. Let him feel like all the guys that they say, oh, he's great. Y'all see how I did all year. Oh, y'all call this guy great when you really don't know what he is. Look at this. Now, say a hut, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, 6
Justin
seconds.
Herbert in college.
Give him that. Give him that so that we can let this kid That's the thing. I'm all fine for Tua as long as you're gonna tell me that you're building a wall around him and he ain't gonna get touched.
But can I
He's
ask
not
you this,
gonna get
TD?
touched.
Can I ask you this, TD? Doesn't that also, based on what you saw from last year in terms of Fitzpatrick, because I know you were expecting, everyone was probably expecting more than 12 interceptions and more turnovers from him last year. But anyways, based on that, couldn't that possibly extend and almost you're going to give Fitzpatrick the best chance to succeed too? So that could make it more likely that you're not going to have to turn to whoever you draft.
Yeah, I
that
get
year, that year to just sit, learn, especially when you got, Herbert, a guy with a high IQ, you know what I mean? He has a 4.01 GPA, has a biology degree. You know what I'm saying? Give him a year to learn. Tua Tagovailoa, a guy who's labeled as a natural study. Give him a year to learn. You know what I mean? It just, that O-line is going to help Fitzpatrick and benefit us this year and extend his shelf life, because I'm really worried that by week 6, 8, if things aren't going well and we draft a guy in the top 10, they're going to be calling for that guy.
Man, build this. I'll tell you reason. If we get Tua, then take all your capital and build a wall. Build a wall, man. The best wall that you can possibly build.
And if he gets hurt, TD, it's ready for the next guy.
No, I don't want nope. He better not get hurt.
No, but I've said that from day one. The thing, because this has been my whole thing. If you're taking Tua, build a line. But my whole thing with that has been also, if he does get hurt, you can cherry drop your guy behind that offensive line, and you're good to go.
I agree. Anthony Mazzano, go out and come back in. You're frozen backstage.
I'm good with whatever they do, man. Y'all know without a shadow of a doubt, man. True diehard fans gonna ride with the organization through and through. But there is a particular
if they get Jake Fromm,
particular process that needs to happen. And first and foremost, if you look at how Andy Reid moved, right? Because he's most recent now, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl champs. They went out and they spent the money up front, right? Andy Reid always been an offensive guy, so he didn't covet defense as much as he coveted offense, because when he got the offensive line where he wanted it, he went out and went up in the draft to go get his quarterback, but not until Alex Smith actually was still the guy there, still was putting up numbers, and people were confused as to why he went and got another quarterback. But then he had a line built. He had a system in place that he could plug and play between the two and say, you know what, I can afford to let Smith go now. Even though he's injured, I can afford to play the young guy because the guys around him, I feel confident enough to protect him. You can put anybody in there. Mahomes just happens to be a special guy because he has all the intangibles to be able to go out and do things that a lot of other quartings
and his improvisational.
So does Tua.
And Mahomes' improvisational skills when the protection does break down,
right? I'm not at any point saying don't go out and get Tua. What I'm saying though is our first priority number one above anything else should be finishing what we started with this O-line. If you grab the guy, you already know without a shadow of a doubt. You grab him at 5, he's sitting for a year anyway. But you got to move everything else towards prioritizing fixing those holes up front. If we don't do that, it doesn't even matter at this point, because then we're falling back into what I consider to be the same thing the Dolphins have always done, playing into the laps of the fans who have no idea what it means to really, truthfully build a team. Right? If they're true fans, they're gonna follow anyway. So the picks aren't all gonna be sexy. And they don't have to be sexy, because what you want is efficiency. So going out and spending money on a guy, even if listen, he's a risk. Everybody can say that, right? You can say what you want to say. Show me what you want to show me about Tua. He's an injury risk, right? That's what they're saying about him. They don't say that. However it feels. I can't deny what he's shown on tape. It's beautiful. The guy is brilliant. The guy is talented. You hear him ball game said, I never said anything otherwise. But at the end of the day, he's a risk, just like any other quarterback would be a risk, because why? You got 11 other guys on the opposite side of the ball designated and paid to knock his block off. So it is what it is. But if you put subpar product on the field in front of that guy, You're gonna get what you get, and it is what it is. So if we don't put blue chippers up front,
can I? Ball game. Have you seen his video?
I saw it.
Okay, I got a question, man. I got a question about that because I just want to be honest because like I'm just not going to be biased. All right.
Right.
I'm concerned about his injuries, but this is what I saw. I just kept looking at his feet. His feet look like they got better. His legs look strong. Russell Wilson style.
Bro, they're the best feet in this class, bro. They're so
I'm not being biased, man. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so his feet look like they got better from the last video to this one. The last video did look edited though. Like they just some of the bad stuff they kept out, but this time when he threw his sideline throws, they looked accurate. It's his deep ball. When TD was talking about he don't look 100%, that's what I saw. If you look at y'all can go back and watch it and you'll see
the push off and the planting of the leg planting.
He still looks stiff.
Is from that deep ball
he still looks a little stiff in the hips, and I don't know if he's going to get better, but that's just what I saw. His deep ball. His deep ball was still accurate though, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's 100%.
He's not.
But that's just what I saw. And then like there's like conflicting stories now because this Lombardi guy came out.
But that was proven to be a lie by Simon Clancy. But
really?
Yeah, bro. He provided pictures. Tua was out there 3 days after the supposed broken wrist surgery, throwing the ball, and they provided pictures. But anyways, if you watch his screens, he was planting fine. But he doesn't. But I don't expect him to be 100% yet.
Whoever gets hurt, has a major injury, and ever comes back 100%.
So
it takes a while, right?
So the worry about this is going to be in 5 to 10 years potential arthritis and the range of motion in 5 to 10 years. But that's like 5 years down the line.
But again, I'm not necessarily worried about that. I would be worried about that if he played wide receiver, if he played running back, if he played cornerback. I'm not necessarily worried about that. As long as he has a level of mobility to his game, I'm just not 10 years down the road. I'm not concerned about the hip becoming arthritic.
It don't take that long.
I'm just not worried about that.
The other thing every hit he takes. No one takes this into account, though. The NFL does a much, much better job at protecting quarterbacks than college level does.
Exactly.
Right. Reason you know as well as I do that across the process, every 53-man roster has a guy that the coach can go to and say, "I need you to let him know you there.
We're here, yeah.
Right? You gonna take that guy will take that $15,000 penalty and just to have a shot.
Man, stop.
Come on, man. They're still doing it, EM.
Stop it, man. Stop, bro. Y'all reaching, bro.
You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy.
I wouldn't be worried, guys.
Stop it, bro.
What worries me is how stiff, how violent, and how many things are taken away in the playoffs. That's where I would be worried.
Right.
The game changes in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, if you put a wall in front of them, and the way the NFL protects their quarterbacks, that's a gamble I'm willing to risk because of the talent.
Even if Tua, I would be concerned again if that's Lamar Jackson, if that's a Cam Newton, if that's a quarterback that their game is predicated on athleticism. Again, I keep telling y'all, Tua is a prototypical pocket passer with elements of mobility to his game.
So in that instance, Ian, what you're saying is you got a guy who's built to throw from the pocket, but if need be, he can get outside the edge. Don't you think, as a defensive coordinator, they're planning and looking at taking away what he does best? I'm gonna send it right up the chute at you. Force you to get outside. Now I got my lurker coming to get you.
Well, they do that.
I know you ain't 100%.
Well, they did that. Okay, he will be. I don't care. Even if arthritis does set in his hip, we can all agree he's going to be more. He's going to be more mobile than Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers of the world, right? Can we agree on that? Even if arthritis sets in 5 years from now.
To me, that's what we remind me of is Drew Brees. Actually, they're about the same. So
from the left side, same height and athletic profile.
Hang on, let me finish my point. So if we can agree that he's gonna, even with an off-grid kit, he's gonna be more mobile and he'll have more mobility than those 4 quarterbacks. We can agree on that. But these guys are statues in the pocket that built, again. These guys are statues in the pocket that built Hall of Fame caliber careers, bro, from the pocket. And Tua has that elite skill set. That's why I'm not as concerned about, from a mobility standpoint, if Osweiler sits in 5 years from now. He's not a quarterback that his game is predicated on that's predicated on improvisation. It's not.
I think they're gonna pass on him altogether.
And again, let me ask y'all.
I gotta.
Hang on.
And it might be the worst decision they make, but I think they're gonna pass on him altogether.
I got something.
Hold on. Let EM finish making his point real quick.
Let me ask y'all this. All y'all out here with this I'm not gonna say it's nonsense because it's a concern. But is he really injury prone? The dude, up until he injured his hip, missed 2 games in his college career.
Bro, hold on. Let me address that. Yes, he's injury prone. Lucky him. Most of them happen at the end of the season or during the off season. He's still injury prone. He just had timing on his side, bro.
Nah, bro, stop. Y'all thinking, bro.
Hold on. I've heard, and I got to get this out because I've heard people saying he was injured in college, in high school. Brother, I've gone and looked back at high school. He played every single high school game, and one year he rushed for 600 yards. So I'm like, where are people saying he got hurt?
Where is this injury? I just don't get it. With the exception of his hip, which I attribute that to be a lack of discipline with the football. He should have thrown the football away.
Yeah.
That's only
EM. Brian, we had a guy, Brian Trulin of QB Filmer on. He was right. He said Tua plays too fast at times. Exactly. And that's what happened on that play.
And again, if you want to criticize
that was a bad decision, man.
If you want to criticize him, he's a prospect at this stage, just like any quarterback. They need refinement. He needs further development in his game. You can knock him for that decision, that lack of sound decision making right there, which cost him dearly. Throw the ball away. Yeah. But again, is he really injured from 2 games? 2 games. Come on, man, stop. Y'all are blinded by y'all buffoonish narratives that y'all about. Y'all have been blinded. And not just y'all. I'm just talking about this fan base that have come out at length with their criticism about this player. Again, they are so blinded. They are so blinded by their narrative that you're trying to spin about this prospect. You're ignoring what is most important to most. What is the most important thing is that dude's tape. And that dude's tape is undeniable. Undeniable. And I can tell, like, I got into it too. I was on Twitter earlier today, arguing back and forth with somebody when they kept trying to spin this. Oh, he's injury prone. He's this. He's brittle. He's that. Stop it. It's ridiculous.
All right. So hold on.
PD, could I say something?
Go ahead, Tony.
It's ridiculous, man.
EM, honestly, I agree with you. I know people are saying he's injury prone, but in a way, you have to see it from their point of view that if we sign, we're paying a whole bunch of money at number 5 for him to be our future quarterback. Aren't you kind of afraid to be spending that much money on him?
Listen. Listen. The last CBA addressed this whole quarterback, this issue about investing too much money in these first round picks. That was addressed. It's a lot of money, but it's not as catastrophic as it was before this prior CBA. Not the new one, but the one that just expired. Okay, so the investment when you're picking that high in the draft and you're taking a risk, because every player is a risk during this draft process. So teams can absorb if you miss on that pick. That contract they can absorb it easier and better from a cap standpoint because the investment is not.
It's only guaranteed like $35 million.
That's it.
And honestly, I would prefer.
That's it.
No, I don't think the issue is really the money at that point. I think it's the fact that you have a lot of other blue chip players on the board to be taking risks with a guy. I think that's where most people are.
Listen.
What y'all are talking about, I kind of had a question about that I wanted to ask y'all that kind of feeds into that I don't understand this notion or this mindset where Dolphins fans are saying wait till next year and just get one of those quarterbacks. Look, this is all that I'm saying. Regardless of whoever we take, whether it's Tua or somebody else, I don't understand that mindset because you got to give yourself the most options. It's not. You can't go on the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals selected a first-round QB, I don't know how many years over and over, and it never worked out for them. They also threw those quarterbacks right into the fire too, without a team around them. So this is what I'm getting at. We're trying to do it right. We have 2 years, 2 shots that you can take at this. Why not take a quarterback this year in the first round? And if it doesn't work out, even if it's Tua, if there's something that concerns you in practices, when you're seeing him every day, then just get another quarterback next year. And I understand you got to pay money, but in the long run, it'll benefit the team. So you still got next year. If whoever you draft this year doesn't work, I don't understand. Wait till next year, man. That just doesn't make any sense. Am I tripping, or what do y'all think about that?
You are not. Listen. This is the year you're with. This year was, in my opinion, I heard TD earlier. This is where we part ways. In my opinion, okay, I have emphasized this all year. They have put themselves. The goal this year was to be within striking distance of a quarterback that they deem, and in my opinion, according to report, I know it's Tua. I know they love Tua, but also Justin Herbert, because those are the 2 quarterbacks that they have invested the most time in scouting, in my opinion. Okay, they put themselves in position this year to be within striking distance to go get one of them, and they are in that position this year. You need to select either one. Me personally, I prefer Tua, but I think again, if they deem Tua is too risky in terms of the issue, in terms of the durability, I think Justin Herbert's raw physical ability is an excellent consolation prize. But this is the year to do it. Next year, we all can agree that they're gonna be better than they were this year. So they'll be picking further back in the draft, and when you're doing that, the price goes up at that point. So
wouldn't you want options?
Hold on. My thing about next year, though, is if I miss out on Tua and Burrow, first thing I'm doing is I'm trading that 5th back to Jacksonville for possibly the 9th or 20th. And if we don't pick Love or we don't pick Herbert, when I look at the guys outside of Lawrence and Fields next year, Trey Lance could declare, Brock Purdy's probably going to come out. Jamie Newman's probably going to have a huge year at Georgia, so he's going to be on everyone's radars. Bro, Tanner Morgan from Minnesota is probably going to be coming out. When I look at the top,
how about De'Ara King
next year, yeah, bro, okay. I'd take Trask over Derek King. So when I look at the top 6 guys this year compared to the top 6 guys next year, I see more potential day 1 starters out of the top 6 next year than I do out of the top 6 this year. So
I want to say something real quick, guys. Let me say this first, Tony, and then I'm gonna come to you. I was sitting here listening to everything y'all were saying, and I think one thing that we need to possibly pay more attention to is the Brian Flores factor here. Brian Flores comes from the tutelage we all know to be Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, believe it or not, I know he pays his corners and stuff like that, but with the dynamic of the team, no position is greater than the other in Bill Belichick's eyes.
Right.
Whether he drafts you, trade for you, or trade you away, no one position is better. I think that we're putting so much merit on the quarterback position, but that's not what our front office or our coach is thinking. Every single position we have, we are overloaded right now. That doesn't mean we got all great talent in that overload, but we have it. Go look at it. Wide receivers, there are 11 on this roster right now. Running back, 6. Every single quarterbacks, we already 3, and we might add 2 in the draft to make it 5. Every single position we've overloaded, and there's a reason for that. And I credit that to like the Bill Belichick philosophy. I'm feeling like when Flores and those guys go into this draft, they're not looking at their quarterback as we gotta go get that guy. We gotta move up to really go get that guy, or he's our guy. They're looking at bringing in another player to compete, and if he earns the job, he gets the spot. If he doesn't, he's relegated to wherever he is on the depth chart. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, the reason why I'm bringing that up is simply this. Because we talked about quarterback next year and all this and that and all that stuff. I know that they said that they want to get a quarterback this year and they want to eye in on that guy. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they look at any quarterback as this have to have like we're doing. I think that they're going to make a pick at 5. There is a handful of guys at 5 that if they're there, they already have a priority of who they'll take. And I personally feel like with Tua's medical, they can look at his skills and everything all they want. But I think that our front office,
there's a chance.
Yeah, they're not at, I don't think that they're so much at Tua at 5 because of the medical. Because they're not looking at it as, but that talent we gotta have. I don't think that they're looking at it that way. They're going through their sheet and saying, I like that player. I like that player. Tua got dropped down a little because of the medical. Where does he fall now? I don't think they say he fell lower than this guy, even though he fell lower than Simmons on our chart, we're gonna get him anyway. No, I think that if Simmons is higher on their chart, they'll get him. If Derek Brown is higher on the chart, they're evaluating.
I don't see that. No, they're not.
You gotta factor in all of that. You know.
Hold on, Ian.
Listen, hang on, TD. Y'all keep saying
y'all. I muted you because I need to finish my point first, man. I'm gonna let you. I need to finish my point first. But what I'm saying is, my whole thing is you have to factor these things in. It doesn't really matter if he can be the superstar of all superstars. Belichick's style is I have a board based off of everything I know. Before Tua's hip injury, Tua is number 1 on my board. If his injury took place and now he's number 4 on my board, a smart GM is going to say, at number 5, who's on my board is still available. And if there is anybody above him on that board, they will select that player. Best player available. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. And that may not be how they're thinking. That Greer can be like, no, heck no, Tua's my guy. I'm getting him no matter what. Flores can feel the same way. But if I'm going to consider the Belichick thought process and all the moves and every decision that they've already made,
you have to consider it.
All the trading Tunsil, all the decisions that they've already made, I think it's more straightforward than we think.
The dude been around Belichick all this time.
You don't put any emphasis on one guy. Everybody's going to be competing. And I think that's what is happening. And it doesn't mean that is happening. Go ahead, Anthony, and then we're going to come to EM because I know Anthony was waiting.
Okay. I want your unmute EM or EM. Guys, I want your opinion on this. I did a draft like yesterday on PFN, the thing you recommended, region, and I did a 3-round mock. I traded with the Raiders, got their 2 first-round picks for number 5, then traded with Jacksonville, gave them 12 and a second-round pick this year, and then drafted Justin Herbert at number 9, and then drafted our O-line the rest of the picks. In the first round. I would have just
targeted.
What did it say?
I would have just targeted Jacksonville off the rip, and in real life time, I would have targeted him on the basis of you can one of Okudah, Simmons, or Derek Brown. Derek Brown is going to be there at 5. Come up to 5. Get your guy for your defense because they're moving forward with Minshew. and then I'm taking your 9th and your 20th, and then I have the 9th, the 18th, the 20th, and the 26th. And then I can play however I want to play. I can take my quarterback at 9, or I can take a tackle because 2 is probably gone, let the board fall as it may, and then take my guy at 18, turn around at 20, get another tackle if I want, if there's another one on the board, and then at 26 I can go get my safety or running back.
Right.
So you don't like my trade? What I did?
I don't think it. I think it would have made more sense to just go straight to Jacksonville.
Too many moves to be able to just get to the 9.
Yeah,
with
you
the Raiders
done it right away with the 5th.
But which would you guys rather? Would you rather 5, 18, 26, or would you rather 9, 18, 19?
Depends what's there at 5.
Well, it just depends on what's still there. But I mean, I'd still rather be taking at least one in the top. Me personally, one in the top 10. But if I don't have to, but it's still a lot of value. We already said that these middle round, those guys in between, 14 to 18 to 20, that's still premium, man. Like so, getting 2 guys in that range is going to be as good as getting one in the top 10. But if I can get one in the top 10, I'm expecting that kid to show up and play day 1.
Like and back to the quarterback, I think they're high on Herbert and Love, but I think only talent wise, only Burrow and Tua have a 5 grade to them.
Right.
That's truly what I believe in. What I've heard.
See, listen. Y'all keep talking about TD. He brought up the Bill Belichick philosophy. Okay, well, from that standpoint, anything is possible. But what y'all are failing to realize is Belichick for 20 years, he's never been in a position to where he's had to make a huge decision like that in terms of like trading up into the first round to select a higher graded prospect and so on and so on. So, but if you recall, when they selected Jimmy Garoppolo, he traded back up into the second round because he saw value. He saw value that he deemed that he could not pass up at that particular point of the draft. He traded back up into the second round to get Jimmy Garoppolo. So don't sit here and say that Bill Belichick will. I agree with you. What you said about the draft grade, and that's why I always preface everything in regards to Tua. It's all about whatever grade Miami has on him. Yeah. If they have that high grade on him, they are going to move heaven and earth to get him.
I'm comfortable. I'm 100% comfortable. If they're you're right, EM. If they're grade on him, and they got him graded out as the highest graded guy on their board, then by all means, you take him.
They're going to get him there. You see what I mean?
But see, we are theoretically saying that's what they have, but it's going to be interesting because with a defensive-minded head coach, first and foremost, you never know. Offense might not even be a premium to him. It might not even. It might just be that we'll build an offensive line so anybody can play behind it. Yes, we like this kid. We love what he does, but
you know
my defense built first.
You know what ball game? Me and we even talked about this. We were just talking about this yesterday or today. That very well maybe that's what scares him because Flores is a defensive-centric guy, and generally, if you go back through history, he brought this exact same scenario. If you go back through history of the NFL, generally defensive guys, they don't necessarily make as large of an investment at that position. They just want a guy to be, protect the football, be disciplined with the football. Above average. They want to run the football. They will lean on their running game, and they're going to play good, sound defense. Now, here's the thing.
That's what we do at defense coordinator.
But here's the thing about Bill Belichick. Belichick was like that early on when he was his first 5 years as a coach of the New England Patriots. That was his philosophy.
Right.
But once Brady started to develop beyond his expectations, I believe he changed his philosophy. He adapted he started to add more responsibility to Brady as he got further along in his development. And
I would like to. Me personally,
and again,
you could be right. I can't disagree with what you're saying, bro, and I won't at any point. I mean, we on the same page and talking in regards to how the process and the thought process it might be. But for me, I think New England's had their best and most effective efficiency on the offensive side of the ball when Bill Belichick decided to turn over the offensive play calling responsibilities to McDaniels. So that's the guy that I don't believe get a whole lot of credit for their success too, because Josh McDaniels brought a whole different twist to their. Because prior to him, they were really all about that run game. Because even back when they had Corey Dillon, and they had they went out and got Corey Dillon specifically to pound the rock, and then
now we'll say this: they still depend a great deal on their running game.
On the running game, yeah,
they still do that to a large degree. But what I'm saying is, Flores, again, this is where I think Flores might be different in terms of the defensive-minded coaches in the history. If you go through, if you look at the landscape of the NFL and you go through history, generally, like we said, defensive-minded individuals, they don't make that in terms of that large of an investment in that position. They like to lean on that running game and play strong defense. But again, Belichick has somewhat morphed his philosophy over the years, according to Tom Brady's development. So if you got a quarterback that is exhibiting those elite physical traits like that, okay, you would be a fool not to change your philosophy somewhat to the strengths of your quarterback. You'd be
but I don't think he ever changed the philosophy in New England for the strength of Tom Brady. He still never got receivers or anything for him. He just always got middle of the road guys and by committee running game.
He got guys that they can build up to protect Tom. They never spent no money on
blue chip.
Listen. It ain't about getting blue chip. It's about production. It don't matter whether you get it. Listen.
Tom Brady.
Listen. Yeah, what are you talking about? He brought a Wes Welker. He brought a Jude. Again, it don't matter where you get these players, TD. Whether you find them at the top of the draft, undrafted status, or the best free agent out there on the market. It don't matter where you get them. You just get the guys there, and you bring them implement them in your system according to the vision you have for that player, and you expect them to perform at a high level. And that's normal.
He got Wes Welker from us.
That's what you call free agency.
That's what I'm talking about.
But you're making it seem like he put more emphasis on it. He didn't. He just went and got guys that he was supposed to get.
No, he did. Because if you look at all of it, look at how many years. Look at the year they went out and got Randy. Look at the year that when they went out and got Randy Moss, bro. They set the league record in terms of scoring at that point. You know what I'm saying? So they put.
But the defense, the defense suffered.
No, it did.
That's what let them down when it all came down to it, because they could score points, but they couldn't stop nobody. That's how they didn't win. That's how they didn't win the Super Bowl.
What are you talking about, Logan? They were 17. They were 16. 17.
They didn't win.
What are you talking? Okay, they got the.
They lit the scoreboard up. Yes, they set all types of records, but they didn't win.
That was listen. Look at the philosophy with that. I'm just using that year as an example. The change of philosophy in terms of their offensive approach. Look at the change of philosophy. They went from a run-centric team to a pass-centric team. What I'm saying is, over the year, Belichick has morphed his philosophy according to according to Brady's development and also what he had around him. So all I'm saying is this: if you're thinking that Flores has the mindset that I don't need an elite quarterback, you are smoke. I don't know what you smoke. You are out of your mind.
I never said that Flores doesn't feel like he needed an elite quarterback. I just feel like Flores ain't putting the emphasis on any of these college guys being elite. So he don't view them that way. And just like
why do you say that? What makes you?
Hold on. You feel that way? Use the example of Belichick moving up in the second round for Jimmy Garoppolo. Once again, on his list, Garoppolo could have been at that stage, so he went and got him at that stage. All I'm saying to you is Flores, I'm pretty confident, has a chart of players that he ranked from top to bottom. And on that chart, I just personally feel like Flores isn't the type of guy that says, my number 3 guy, I'm going to take the number 7 guy over the number 3 because he's just really good, even though
we don't know what's up with Bill. Hell, he let the GOAT go.
Yeah, I think he
Hey, listen, we will see soon how that, without Tom Brady, how that philosophy works out without an elite
Still
guy.
Ooh,
We're gonna
still
see,
Yeah,
we're gonna see real soon, bro.
Still
So hold on. What's the level of success, EM? Playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, he's proven he can get to the playoffs without Brady. He's proven that.
So how can we really see?
I'm talking about in terms of winning multiple Super Bowls. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay,
I guarantee you, if he does not get a player performing at an elite level at that position, he will not win another Super Bowl before he retires. I guarantee you that. But again, I'm just saying my point is, listen. Let me wrap this up. My point is being this. Belichick, when he sees value, okay, he will be aggressive in terms of the draft now. He will trade up and go get a guy. Again, he just had.
I can't say that, bro, because Trent Dilfer got a Super Bowl, and an elite defense took him there, bro. So it's hard.
And they had a 2,000-yard rusher that year. They had a 2,000-yard rusher that year. He won, and arguably the greatest defense of all time.
Defense and O-line. That's what I've been telling y'all. Defense and O-line.
But how often does that come? How often does that come around?
How often do people try to?
How often is that coming around?
How often do people try to?
Most people, mate, if we're being completely honest, bro, if we're being completely honest, most organizations look to have an offense that fills the stands and a defense that theoretically doesn't necessarily make anybody want to come out to watch them. Most people want to see offense, but the true nature of football, you ain't winning a lot of games. You can't stop people from scoring. So I don't see our guy Brian Flores, who is a defensive minded guy, deviating too far from his roots and trying to put out there for the Miami Dolphins some show, greatest show on turf representation.
Nobody said that.
What I'm saying is they're making these selections, for me, in my thought process, when they're making these selections, bro, I think he's looking at trying to give both sides of the ball fair opportunities and players to accentuate what they do best, but at the same time, in the long scheme of things, he ain't putting more preference over one than the other. So if the guy's there, if Tua's there, and he's the highest graded guy on their list at that time, yes, I believe they'll take him. But if there's a defensive guy that can help our team, and he has that guy higher rated than Tua, I believe without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to go get that guy first.
That's the only point that I'm making.
Not this year. No, I disagree with that. I'm sorry.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where they go.
Not this year.
No, Ian, you might be right though.
I disagree with that.
You might be right, but here's why you might be right. Because, like me and Ball Game said, if the defensive guy is higher on his chart than Tua, and they're both available, we feel like he's going defense. But then you have to bring in the thought process of Ross.
Yeah, Ross,
quarterback now, who might trust what Flores wants to do. That's the only way I see it happening if both guys are available. A defensive guy, he got rated higher. Like hypothetically,
another problem for Flores might be Chan Gailey too, because Greer and Ross could go schematically who fits what you want to run, because we basically all know that Flores is he's gonna have hands on, but it's more going to be a hands off approach. Let Chan Gailey go, because one of the things he loves about Chan Gailey is how Chan Gailey himself adapts on the fly in game during situations. So that sounds like you take a hands off approach with that guy. He's 65. He has the resume. You let him go. Who's going to fit your scheme the best when we're picking where we're at, if they're ranked high to where we're at? So if the quarterback is there and they got him ranked 7 and they're picking at 5, Chan Gailey's probably going to have a little bit more say than what people give him credit for.
And also,
here's my question. In terms of that scenario,
what
if Chan said I can fix Rosen?
No, don't do it. Don't do it to him.
No, I see your face reasonable. What I'm saying, right? Chan Gailey has always been known to sit in the rooms and say to himself, "Oh, that guy got issues, but I can fix it."
What was the reason? What was the reason? Hold on. What was the reason?
Hey, listen.
Hold on. Why is O'Shea gone? Why is O'Shea gone?
Because he didn't communicate and talk well with Josh at all. He spent his time talking with
and he was one of the guys that sold them on going to get Rosen.
But what if Chan Gailey is the guy that they say, hey, we want to see if you can fix this guy?
You wouldn't be hearing all this quarterback talk already.
Exactly.
Is it the Dolphins doing the quarterback talk, or is it everybody else?
They wouldn't be taking a guy at 5 if Rosen.
It ain't the Dolphins. Exactly. It ain't the Dolphins doing all the talking though. No. Reason, you know what I shout about. I really don't care if they take the kid or not, bro. I don't.
Bro,
that's on my marriage. That's on my marriage of almost 30 years. I don't care if they take a quarterback.
But they're going to take Herbert. They're going to take Herbert or Love if they don't take Tua.
I don't care.
It's a wrap anyways.
All I'm saying is I have not seen one thread from the Miami Dolphins organization that said we are going to get a quarterback. Well, everybody else. That's been Mel Kiper. That's been everybody else saying
in the first round.
Didn't Greer say something at the combine?
When?
Yeah, at the combine.
What did he say? Did he say he liked the player?
Let me help you out. Greer said, and I quote, "We're looking to find a quarterback for this franchise this year."
And EM.
He didn't say when.
Hold on, and EM. What did Stephen Ross say on that talk show about quarterback? Tell him what he said.
I know what he said.
Tell him what he said. Hold on, because some people might not know. Tell him what he said.
This is not coming from me. This is not coming from Reason. This is coming from Stephen Ross himself. When they asked him, listen.
I heard it.
Listen. I sent it to y'all. I'm the one to send it to y'all. Okay. Listen.
You don't trust nothing you see.
And listen.
It's an interview.
Big time. You better think on it.
Anyways, let EM say what he has to say.
Listen. How the conversation came up, they weren't even talking about quarterbacks. They were talking about how Josh Rosen came up. The guy that was interviewing Stephen Ross was inquiring about his ethnicity, his Jewish background, right? He volunteers. Okay, the guy asked him, "There's not very many Jewish people in the NFL," and his reply was, "Well, we have our quarterback, Josh Rosen is Jewish." And the guy that was interviewing him said, "Really?" And he replied, "Well, I wish he was a better quarterback, but yeah, the quarterback that's on our roster, he's Jewish."
And we're gonna find out if Chan Gailey can make him better.
Listen.
That's not exactly a resounding endorsement, though.
I know.
I'm not. Hey, Stephen Ross don't know no plays. Stephen Ross don't know shit about no quarterback. All he knows is trying to fill seats. So at the end of the day, I get it. They got to appease the They got to appease the owner. They got to. I'm okay with it. Go get him.
No.
Okay.
Let me tell you why Stephen Ross is so, in my opinion, he is so disconnected. We drafted Minka Fitzpatrick, and
he didn't even know to do what
What did Stephen Ross say? I didn't like the pick.
He wanted Lamar Jackson.
It doesn't mean he
wanted Lamar Jackson.
He wanted Lamar Jackson. He
wanted an MVP.
Stop, bro. Stop it.
We drafted Christian Wilkins. What did he say? What did he say when we drafted Christian Wilkins?
I don't know. What did he say?
I'm not excited about the pick.
No, he didn't. TD, stop. Stop.
He did say it.
I'll send it to you.
He said it.
Tomorrow when we go live, when I send it to you in less than an hour, tomorrow when we go live, since you're so adamant about he didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
Why don't you tell people right now, if he said it, what does that mean? So that we ain't got to hear from it tomorrow after you read it tonight. What does that mean if he did say it, Ian?
What do you mean? What does that mean? He what he said.
He don't know what he's talking about. That's what that means. You don't have no idea about these players.
I'm going to say this. Did Christian Wilkins really set the NFL league on fire this year? Did he do that? I mean, that's real.
Bro,
he was the most productive rookie.
Was he in the rookie of the year running? Did he set the league on fire? No, he didn't.
Bro, at his position with the defense that we had, tell me anybody on that defensive roster that set the league on fire.
30-second against the run, bro. 30-second against the run.
That's all Christian Wilkins for that.
And a good reason for that was Christian Wilkins' lack of consistency.
Hold on.
Brian Flores, listen. Brian Flores,
Patrick set the league on fire this year.
listen. And Brian Flores.
What did he do on the Dolphins? Why was it night and day for Minka on the Dolphins than it was with Pittsburgh?
Did Brian Flores not criticize Christian Wilkins at certain points this year?
About his
Publicly.
About his pad level.
Inconsistency. Inconsistency.
No, he never said inconsistency. It was about his pad level, and then he came out 2 weeks later and said that he must be listening to y'all because he's doing it now.
But again, he didn't set the work. He was an inconsistent player this year. Did Minka Fitzpatrick set the league on fire, EM? What? In Pittsburgh? Yeah.
Okay, why he ain't doing it in Miami then? Does that justify who he is? No, just like Christian Wilkins, it don't justify.
Stop.
Bro, you want to run away from that though. The same thing in Miami, Minka Fitzpatrick was hot boo trash, but then he goes to Pittsburgh and all of a sudden he basically was a Pro Bowl nod had he done the full season.
No, the reason why, listen. Minka did not buy in. Minka Fitzpatrick did not buy into what Brian Flores was trying to implement in his defense. He just didn't buy in for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's killing me.
In other words,
That's killing me to even talk about Minka, bro. I hate that. I hate that, bro.
But this year, Wilkins he's gonna definitely take a bigger leap because our offensive line is gonna be better.
You hope.
No, I know he'll be better.
How do you know? How do you know?
This is why. Let me explain myself. Let me tell you why. Because the offensive line is going to get better, man. Our offensive line was horrible, bro. You could see that these guys were gassed in the second half, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a better O-line. The defensive line ain't going to be out there the whole game, bro. I guarantee that he's going to be a better player this year. Totally different, man, than what you saw last year.'s going to be way better, bro.
Okay.
And he was a friend. It was his rookie year, bro.
Okay.
Hold on.
Everybody that you thought was subpar last year.
Listen.
You don't believe in Christian Wilkins?
Listen, listen, before y'all go with y'all start with the misquoting. Let me set the record straight, okay? Before y'all start, listen. Before y'all start, and the idiots in the comment section start with the misquoting, let me set the record straight. I am not saying I'm down on Christian Wilkins. The only point that I'm trying to make, I'm trying to rebut the narrative that you're trying to spin about Stephen Ross about you're immediately to the fan base. You're trying to paint a narrative that Stephen Ross basically doesn't know what he's talking about. But if you look at the players that he was banging the table for, don't you think if Miami would have selected them at that point in the draft, we would be in a better situation right now? I mean, really, let's be real about it.
Bro,
so listen, I'm not listen. I'm not saying
you asked the question. You asked the question.
So my point is, listen, I'm not saying Stephen Ross is an outstanding talent evaluator. I'm not saying he knows more football than our staff. I'm not saying that at all. My point, the point that I was trying to make was was to rebut the narrative that you're trying to spin on Stephen Ross. And you're trying to, what you're saying is, when we just brought up the interview that of his criticism of Josh Rosen, you're immediately trying to, you're trying to attack his credibility based off what his response was.
Okay,
so
let me clear up what I'm saying. I'm not attacking his credibility, and hopefully you allow me to finish. I'm not attacking his credibility. I am showing you exactly what he said out of his own mouth. I don't make those decisions. Flores and Greer reports to him of what he thinks, what they think about certain players. He like Lamar Jackson because he wants us to find our franchise quarterback. That's all that's on his mind. When we drafted Minka, he wanted a quarterback. He didn't care. He didn't care for Minka. When we got Christian Wilkins, he wanted a quarterback. He didn't care for Christian Wilkins. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't a case of he thinks Christian Wilkins sucked or Minka wasn't a good pick. I never said that, but you got to understand this man ain't in tune with the whole team. He wants to find his quarterback, the face of his franchise, like most owners.
Because he knows how important that position. because he knows how important that position is. That's why.
Okay?
That's why.
Let me finish. Chris Greer and Brian Flores are the ones who are making the decisions, okay? The only thing Stephen Ross is doing is basically getting information from them, and then he'll add his 2 cents. But obviously, he's not trumping them. He's not, because we would have had Lamar Jackson if he was trumping them. We would have drafted a quarterback last year if he was trumping. So it really don't matter what the evaluation is.
Listen, TD, I am not, listen, all I'm saying in regards to Christian Wilkins is this. I love Christian Wilkins. I love his upside. All I'm saying, last year, he was inconsistent, okay?
He was a rookie.
It was in starting. I get that. I understand it. It don't matter whether he was a 10-year veteran. He was inconsistent, okay? And I get that, and I'm giving him a pass for that. I'm just highlighting his inconsistencies, okay? That's it. Just call it for what it is. It don't matter why he was inconsistent. He was inconsistent.
Bro, you just said it. You just said it yourself. And that's the thing that gets me with you, EM. You literally said out of your own mouth just now to everybody, it doesn't matter why he was inconsistent. That's what kills me. That's what kills me.
I'm talking about in terms of the rebut of your narrative that you're trying to spin about Stephen Ross. Because you're like, the whole Christian Wilkins has to say,
the whole Christian Wilkins is all tackle. The whole Christian Wilkins argument wasn't a rebuttal about Greer. I told you it was because of the defense. That's why I brought up Mika Fitzpatrick. Hold on. You didn't finish now. Let me finish. Go ahead. Same situation. We be arguing about 2 different things in a lot of situations. This whole Stephen Ross thing, you built that narrative. That ain't what I meant. And I just elaborated on what I meant by it. But you're still arguing that same thing that I've already elaborated. The thing is the reason why a large reason why he didn't have the season that you probably would have hoped he had, which we don't know. He might have still never had it. But you cannot discount this defense that was around him. Same thing with Mika. You think Mika just playing at that position was the only reason he sucked and this defense sucked? They were trying to have him make up for a whole bunch of crap that the rest of this defense couldn't do. So the same thing applies. You have to be fair about it. You can't sit there and evaluate the guy's season and say this is what it is without looking at all the factors. This guy might come in next year with Van Noy behind him, with all those guys behind him, and end up being a Pro Bowler.
Listen, TD. Listen to what I said. If you listen to what I said, you wouldn't even bother with that little soliloquy you just went on for 10 minutes.
I'm all ears.
My point was your response, okay, when Reason asked me to articulate what Stephen Ross said in an interview. Immediately, your rebuttal was you didn't want Christian Wilkins in the first round last year. As to say that Christian Wilkins is this all pro. He came into the league and tore up the league last year. And my response to that was as to paint a narrative that Stephen Ross does not know anything about player evaluation. And my rebuttal to that was, really, if he said that, I don't believe he said that. You got to send that to me. I didn't hear it. I've never heard that come out or never read a report that Stephen Ross was not high on Christian Wilkins. The Dolphins selected him last year in the first round. I don't know anything about that. So send that to me. But anyway, in the event that you do send that to me, and I stand corrected. My point is that Christian Wilkins did not exactly come into the league, you know what I mean, and set the league on fire last year. He was inconsistent. All year he was. And that's okay.
Pause right there. Pause right there. Can we stay right there for a second, Ian? That's what mattered. That's all I'm talking about. The whole thing what Reason brought up with the whole Ross not knowing anything, I already elaborated on what I actually meant. Because what you thought I meant wasn't what I meant. And I've already elaborated on that, bro. Where I'm at is you saying, it ain't like he tore up the league, but it's also partial reason for that. That's where I'm at right now. I'm not on that other stuff that you're on.
Well, listen.
TD,
for the record, I am high on Christian Wilkins' upside. I was high on him last when they selected him, and I haven't changed in terms of my evaluation of him. I'm still high on him. But again, in closing, when have you ever heard an owner come out and criticize a potential starting quarterback for you of their franchise publicly like that? To my knowledge, all the years I've been watching football, I have never seen an owner come out publicly and criticize a quarterback now.
Never, ever.
Never seen that. So the fact that y'all are sitting here holding on to this pipe dream of Rosen as the future, bro, y'all need to stop. Y'all really need to let go of that, bro.
I think what a lot of people are holding on is whenever Flores says things like, I gave Josh a list and he's completed it all. And people are like, okay, let's see what that looks like.
And he still can't get on the field.
No. This is after the fact.
Oh,
People
stop, man. Stop.
No, I mean, these are facts, Ian. You just want to ignore them. All we're saying is if our head coach comes on this live stream right now and tells you, hey, EM, I gave Josh Rosen a list of things, and based off of what I see, he's completed them. I mean, do you tell Flores, hey, man, Flores, stop that? I mean, you say at the same token, why does all the fans that believe that want to see what that looks like, why is that an issue for you?
Listen. This is to help y'all, okay? This is to help y'all sleep better at night. Stop hanging on to this pipe dream of Josh Rosen as the franchise. I know TD want to get up here and spin this buffoonish narrative about this flawed player after two decent throws he made all year in 2 years since he's been in the NFL. Yeah, I'm speaking primarily to the fan base. Get over it. He's done. He won't be on the roster too much longer. I don't care what TD said. I don't give a damn what ball game says. He will not be on the roster soon. So stop it.
Because you got his bus ticket from Flores, right?
I got it printed. That's the first one he sent me. He said, "Ian, hang on to this. Don't worry. Hang on to it. I'll let you know when you need to print it off." I'm gonna let you know.
TD, I got a question for you, man.
Go ahead.
I didn't catch some of the earlier part of the stream. I don't know if you already went over it, man. But did you hear anything about our team doctor being in Tennessee around the same time Tua was there? Did y'all hear anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that.
I heard there was a report. Was it yesterday? Man, I need to look into it. But apparently, when all this these travel implications got put on all these teams, they were saying our team doctor was actually in Tennessee and Tua was there as well. So I was just wondering if y'all had heard it. What about you?
I ain't heard nothing like that.
Y'all didn't hear anything?
I hope that transpired.
If it did transpire, that's a bad thing for Tua Tagovailoa because at that time there was too many concerns. There's less concerns now than it was then. So yeah. I haven't heard anything that Miami was present. I think that we possibly would have heard about that by now. But if you got it, send it to me and I'll check it out and see what I can find out. But
I think it was that lady, man, the blonde lady that's always on ESPN. If I'm not mistaken.
Jennifer Rutledge.
Yeah, I think it might have been her. It came out of her mouth, or I read it on an article. Dude, I'm almost positive I went over that like a day or two ago. And I was just like, is TD talking about this?
Well,
because why isn't nobody talking about this?
Last week he was in Tennessee.
No.
He went back to the NFL Combine, like where it's done, the NFL Combine people for a reevaluation, because that's what people with injuries do. And
that's where Tua was, right?
Yeah, and 2 physicians were sent there that were selected by NFL teams to conduct their independent the 2 guys that conduct their independent physicals separate from Tua's camp, because the concern is Tua's camp feeding us all the right info. And like I said earlier, the 2 physicians came away and they basically corresponded to all 32 teams that they were overwhelmingly positive. Now, the 2 teams that flunked him, they didn't flunk him based on his medical this year. They flunked him based on his history.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what people. That's why when people say, TD, why aren't you live about Tua failing those physicals? They send me messages and stuff, and I said I'm not putting much merit into him failing the physical because that's just their big board.
I'm pretty sure.
We're gonna flunk him. We don't want him. But
I'm pretty sure she mentioned that our team doctor just by whatever reason, was actually in Tennessee. Our team doctor.
I just haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard it either. Yeah.
I'll try to look into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I find it, I'll send it to you, man.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting.
It is interesting. It is interesting.
But
So
anyway, at the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, listen. All joking aside, we can get up here and troll all day and talk noise and argue all day long. Listen, like I think that was Ball Game said that whatever quarterback they select, the fan base needs to get behind them. Period. Okay, and ride with them. Just like y'all gave, just like that 7-year devotion y'all gave to Ryan Tannehill.
Okay,
You know
at least
what I
you
mean?
said his name.
At least for the first, hey, listen. At least for the first 3 years, you need to keep that same energy and give that to whatever quarterback that they select. Okay,
I agree.
Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, whomever, Jalen Hurts, any of them.
That's reciprocal now, EM. We gotta reciprocate that now. I'm with
Even
you.
if it's Josh Rosen.
No matter who it is, we all
Oh, see, you don't want to do that though.
No. Listen. I told y'all from jump. If you go back on TD's channel and look and pull up the first episodes of his panel, I told Ball Game that on air and privately in our private conversations that I told him that I hope Josh Rosen, winds up being the franchise guy. That means we could have came into this draft and used all our resources to address every other aspect of our team. Obviously, that didn't transpire. So we're stuck here picking at 5, looking for a quarterback again. I'm just saying, I learned my lesson with Ryan Tannehill. 7 years, 2 coaching staffs. Oh no, that won't happen with me again. Not in terms of my devotion, in terms of my loyalty. Oh, absolutely not. It could be Tua Tagovailoa himself, and after 3 years, and he is not performing up to my expectations and the overall team's expectations, I'm gonna be up here. Hopefully, I'm alive and well in 3 years, killing him, just like I've been obliterating Josh Rosen since he's been in Miami. But what doing the exact same thing.
But what happens if Tua comes in and he gets hurt first, and you're just anxious to see him play on the field, but we have that drama going through? What about then? I can see if the play isn't there, but what if we're riddled with an injury, and then we got to wait a whole nother year to see him?
Well, look. Look at it like this: a perfect potential. If that scenario happens, okay. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz has been hurt every year he's been in the league. Are they regretting selecting him, trading up, making that kind of investment in him? Number 1 overall? Are they regretting that? No, they're not. Because you know why? He's gotten them into the playoffs for the last 3 years. No, they're not regretting it. Now, again, ideally,
backup had to win the Super Bowl.
Well, hey, okay, but
he wasn't having an MVP caliber season before he got hurt.
He was first in MVP running when he got hurt. So listen, all I'm saying is this: ideally, I don't want to. Listen. Ideally, I don't want Tua to get to the NFL and we have to worry about these durability concerns. I don't want that. But all I'm saying in terms of when you're evaluating him overall, I don't think he's injury prone. I just think that it's just unfortunate incidents due to his lack of discipline with the football. Okay, contributed 100% to him getting nicked up. Now again, his hip, that was totally different. Again, but when you're evaluating him, his tape is too good to pass up. It's too good, bro.
What about before the hip when nobody touched him? What are you talking? How did his decision making cause that?
What are you talking about? His 2 ankle injuries, he got hit both of those plays, bro. What are you talking about?
Y'all remember one when he fumbled when nobody touched him and then he came up hurt?
No, when was that?
It was one of the biggest games. He stepped up.
You're talking about the LSU game. He was already hurt. He was coming off 2 weeks prior to that game, bro. Ankle surgery. He shouldn't have even been on the field. And if you recall, I told
being on the field.
And I told y'all I wouldn't even play if I told y'all they need to sit him down. If I was his dad and his mom, he wouldn't even been on the field. I told y'all that. But no, he didn't. He was already hurt that game, TD. Just 2 weeks removed from ankle surgery.
So do you think the Chargers jump us and go get to him?
I don't think Miami allows that to happen. I really don't.
Do you think we jump up now? That's
well. I personally, I think a lot of people are higher. A lot of GMs, especially picking in the top 10, are higher on Justin Herbert than what they're letting on. Is what I think. I think they are letting Joe Burrow and Tua get all the headlines, and I think quietly there are GMs in it, more GMs than you believe are higher on Justin Herbert quietly. So I think the Chargers, I think they are now in terms of him and Tua, they might favor Tua somewhat, but I think the Chargers are in love quietly because I've been hearing a lot of conversation about their front office being quietly enamored with this kid's skill set. And I think the Chargers are a team quietly, okay? All this smoke about Tua going to them and people projecting them jumping us to 3 to get to a no. I think they are zeroing in on Justin Herbert. I think.
Isn't that the same?
Everything I heard after the combine was Jordan Love jumped Herbert on their big board.
But isn't that the same thing?
That ain't what I've been hearing.
Isn't that the same thing in Miami? Isn't it the same thing? They're really high on Herbert, but all this talk about they're gonna take Tua and. Here's why I'm convinced that the highest level of interest is in Tua and is in Justin Herbert is because they have scouted these two quarterbacks the most out of all of them for the last 2 years.
Well, they've scouted Jordan Love for the same amount of time too. Yeah, they've all been scouted since 2018. They've all been scouted since 2018.
Go back to 2018. That's fact.
Yeah, man.
Well, you know.
Anyways, guys, I got to get out of here because I'm about to do my big board show for the offensive tackle. But I appreciate you guys having me on. All right.
Those are good, man. I've been checking them out.
I will, bro. Have a good one, guys.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you.
See you in a minute, bro.
But yeah, I'm about to get out of here too, guys, because I was supposed to stop at 9 o'clock. Any last words on ball game?
What?
He always muting himself.
I'm always on the I don't know what you call it. I'm on the team of ensuring that we don't make any rash and
out there
any decisions. Yeah, any outlandish decisions based on just what would appease everyone else that think they know what's best for us. Now, I don't care one way or the other if they draft a quarterback. I really don't at this point because it ain't gonna do no good if we don't address who's protecting them. And if those guys don't get time to jail, then whoever's back there, regardless of the situation, it ain't gonna really matter. I don't see a quarterback making that huge of a difference if the guys around him and the supporting cast around him aren't that much better. So for me, I think I've been out of, I don't know. I mean, I might be the longest tenured fan amongst us here talking, but at the same time, I'm a realist. And I know that when you bring in a guy that's predicated and built his whole reputation off of being defensive, he ain't going to spend too much of the capital on offensive assets unless he has to. So with Stephen Ross being in the process, I believe you got to appease the boss. If they really want it, they really want the quarterback, then go get him. And I don't have a problem with it. Whoever it is, I'm going to support it regardless. But if they don't get him, I want people to – if they don't go get Tua, I want people to not be rash and run out and saying, oh, the Dolphins going to be trash or the dock of the team, because it's proven that you can still win. You may not win as sexy with the run game and playing style defense as it looks for a quarterback throwing touchdown. That's the only difference. A quarterback throwing touchdowns, deep ball down the field, that excites everyone. But you can still have the same efficiency by going clipping off 5-6 yards a pop, start running game where they can't stop you, play action throws to secure passing options, and move the chain and get into the red zone and then pound people into submission. That's still football. And at the end of the day, you can still win games in this league like that. I just want the fans, people that don't really spend a lot of time doing what we do, to not be over the top upset if they go a different route, because There's still options, and they still might have a plan in place. Obviously, we don't know. We're all speculating. But at the end of the day, I think it's best to approach the next couple of weeks with optimism that they'll just make the best decisions that are going to put us in a place to be competitive and not, the back half of the league going forward for the next 10, 15 years. And if they do that, I'm good because I'm sick of mediocrity. So that's it.
I hear you, man. Esteban?
I'm out. Bro. Love you, man.
No, man.
All right, ball game. All right, ball game.
All right, EM.
Hey, ball game.
Real quick.
Hold on, let Esteban real quick.
No, I was just gonna say that as a fan base, I've been a fan for a long time, man, and we've been in the storm for a while, man. We've been waiting to see some daylight, and we're riders in the storm, man. We're finally about to see something happen this season, and it's exciting. And it kind of feels like Christmas, where like when you're a kid, Christmas is coming, but you don't want to count the days. You just want it to come, and it just seems like it comes quicker. So I don't even know how many days are left until the draft, but I can't wait, man. And yeah, man. I mean, like, we're going through issues like global issues right now, man, that this is better not to talk about them, man, because it's in everybody's face every day anyways, man. So this is awesome to be able to just talk football with you guys and talk about this team. And I know the Cowboys that live in Texas, they're considered, they say here that they're America's team. I never felt that way, but hopefully Miami will, you know what I mean? Hopefully we have that team that becomes a global team, man. We'll be the world's team. Like, I hope for the best for this team. It's just, I've been a fan for so long that I wish for nothing but the best, and I expect better this year, man. So my expectations are high. But last thing I was gonna say was, as far as quarterback, I don't want to get my hopes up and just pin down one quarterback that I want to roll with. Like, I know you're a big fan of Tua, EM. So if we don't select him, I know you're going to be disappointed to an extent. So that's my only thing is I'll just be supportive of whatever quarterback we get and start looking into more film on that guy, more film than what I have, and just get ready for the season, man. So that's just my take.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you as always, Esteban. And
all right, Esteban.
All right. And we have last and always least. What's up, EM?
No. Listen. As far as the quarterback, okay, this year, we all, we might differ on, how we feel what this year was all about. But in my opinion, this year was about that position, okay? True enough, if they don't select Tua Tagovailoa, we all know how I feel about this prospect. But if they don't select him, I'm gonna feel some type of way for about maybe an hour, and then I am gonna quickly shift gears to whatever player they select. And again, like I said earlier, at the end of the day, we've been debating all year about who you prefer, who you don't prefer. All these different scenarios, possibilities of who they might be zeroing, who they might be targeting. But at the end of the day, us as a fan base, whoever that might be, because it blows me away how divisive this issue is, as far as, within the fan base. It's crazy. You get people, threatening to kill each other over this freaking topic of who we might be selected. It's crazy to me. So at the end of the day, when you're grading from an evaluation standpoint, whether that's Tua, I personally think the two players who they have targeted is Tua and I think Justin Herbert is the fallback plan. Either one of those prospects, we in my opinion, at this stage, in terms of their overall physical traits, we are in a good place. And it's just up to the coaching staff in our front office to assemble the team, the roster around them. That's going to give us the most chance of success. But from a physical, I'm telling you, whether we select Tua or Herbert, since Dan Marino, we've never had I'm talking about in terms of physical ability, we haven't had at that position two potential athletes like these two prospects. So I personally think my preference is Tua Tagovailoa, but again, Herbert, I'm telling you, reason and I differ. You know, he prefers love. Ball game prefers love. I think Herbert's overall ability, bro, that's a lot. That's an excellent consolation prize. So with that being said, either one, whomever we select, you know, I think we're all in agreement. They are targeting a quarterback at 5 or in a trade-up scenario. You know, based off the physical abilities of 2 players, we are in good hands. But it's just up to Flores and Greer to develop them, to extract that consistency out of them. It's up to them. So we just need to stop this food. I know I contribute to it because I engage when I see, you know, on Facebook and Twitter and all these other platforms. I engage even on this one in the comment section. I do engage in the back and forth with the fan base. But we all need to stop. We just need to, you know, again, keep that same energy that was given to Ryan Tannehill for 7 years. You know, we need to keep that same energy, and whoever they select, we need to, you know, send that in their direction.
Appreciate it, homie, as always, man. And I'm gonna send you that. Hey, make sure you read it very well. But I appreciate you tonight, as always. I appreciate all the panelists. So thanks to Ball Game. Thanks to Anthony Manzano. Thanks to Esteban. Thanks to Reason. Thank you, Finsanity, as always. Even though she ain't come on tonight, I'm gonna get on her. But and thank you everybody that tuned in to the show tonight. We appreciate y'all love. We appreciate y'all support. Y'all make sure y'all go show Reason some love. I believe he's about to start a stream, so y'all go on over.
I'm about to jump on there too as well. He texting me right now.
Y'all hold it down, man. You know, I already know I got wife duties tonight, so we gotta watch another movie. So just letting you know.
I hear you, Titty. Y'all be good. Y'all be good. And fins up all day, every day, baby.
As
all
always.
Day, every day.
Fins up, everybody. I will see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all, man. And we're about 4 likes away from 200 likes, so y'all hit that like button. Until next time, this is TD Fins Talk. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Peace from the East. Man, oh my God. I'm gonna have a good flow for y'all coming up. I'm out, y'all.